semi-final and only a massive 5 points from the meeting. A turning point in this year's race for World Championship it may prove to be, as Holder, Peloton and Crump also failed to score any significant points from the night. Despite a poor start, Hancock worked hard all evening on finding the setup that seemed to elude his competition, and his reward a berth in the final alongside Jonsson, Lindback and Bier. Sweden's Andreas Jonsson in white from gate 3 came off the line and into the lead by turn 3, leaving the others eating his dirt. Jonsson, winner of round 6 in Italy, moving himself into the top 8.
Took me back in the game because I was sort of out, and now in top 8 again, and only 12 points up to the 3rd place, so it's really looking different now. So also I get a bit of boost in myself, and gonna try really hard.
Greg Hancock extends his lead over Thomas Gollop to 22 points, whilst Chris Holder drops to 4th, with Hampel taking over 3rd spot by 2. Only 10 points now cover 8th to 4th, but for the American on top of the world standings, it's no time to ease off the gas.
It's only 22 points, and it's good to be in this position, but it's a long way to go, and I'm prepared to run it all the way to the end. So there's a lot of points to be taken.
So from Italy, we travel to North Sweden and the G&B Arena Melilla for round 7. The track has always provided good racing, with home club riders Rune Holter and Freddie Lindgren both making the final in 2010. Disappointment was to follow for Lindgren by breaking down, but for his fellow clubmate Holter, glory. But in 2011, it's been tough as both riders come home this weekend carrying injuries.
At the moment, there's nothing I can do, and it will not help even if I take a month rest. I need longer time than that, they say, and I just have to keep on going and try to do my best.
I felt good on the bike, and after I've been on this track so many times, I just thought I'd missed the last part of the practice to save my back a little bit.
Hello there, and a very warm welcome to the FIM Scandinavian Speedway Grand Prix. We're at the G&B Arena in Melilla in Sweden. It's round 7 of the FIM World Speedway Championship, and we're looking forward to a terrific night of racing. A fantastic crowd here in Melilla, it has to be said. A purpose-built speedway venue. Kelvin Tatum alongside me, and Kelvin, what a tremendous setup this is. The atmosphere is superb, and it's all set up beautifully for a terrific night of speedway.
It is indeed, yeah. It's a natural amphitheatre. There's no question that it's a purpose-built venue. Obviously, it's a terrific track, plenty of banking. Majority of riders enjoy coming here. They really do look forward to this event. And yeah, as you rightly say, the crowd has flocked in. There's a terrific atmosphere already, and the weather's set fair. We're really looking forward to a terrific Grand Prix.
And the track conditions as well. You've taken a look at the track.
Yeah, I've had a good look at the track, and I have to say there's plenty of grip out there. There should be no excuses from the point of view of lack of grip for the motorbikes here this evening.
Well, we just await the presentation of the riders, the 18 riders, 16 in the GP plus the 2 reserves. We do have a wild card, as always, of course, in the GP. Thomas H. Jonassen, the talented young Swedish rider,
big talent,
here tonight, and he's got a great future ahead of him.
He has, and we've seen him strut his stuff in Grand Prix previously, and the World Cup, of course. So Thomas H. Jonassen is a rider to keep a lookout for.
Well, we await the national anthem of Sweden here in Melilla.
Upstanding for the Swedish national anthem to be sung by Marlene Karlström.
Du gamla, du fria, du fjälliga nord, du tysta, du glädje, rika sköna. Jag hälsar dig, vänaste land på vår jord. Din sol, din himmel, dina ängder gröna. Din sol, din himmel, dina ängder gröna. Du tronar på minnen från fornstora dagar, då att ditt namn flög över jorden. Jag vet att du är och du blir vad du var. Ja, jag vill leva, jag vill dö i Norden. Ja, jag vill leva, jag vill dö i Norden.
What a reception for the Swedish national anthem here at the G&B Arena in Manila, a very unique speedway venue. We're right in the middle of a forest, in the middle of nowhere. As we bring you the lineup to you now, Linus Sundström, who has had a good year in the Elite League in the UK, his first season in the Elite League in the UK with the Peterborough Panthers. He is the second reserve. Simon Gustafsson, now we saw him get some rides in the Ullevi earlier in the season. Yeah,
and he's a good rider. Of course, his father was a terrific rider as well, and Simon is certainly continuing on. But this man I'm excited about, Thomas H. Jonasson, you know, he really is emerging talent. And once again, a wild card here. And they like him, and I'm sure he's going to be in the thick of the action. Yeah, he was here last year as well. Now, Janis Kolodze here, rider number 15, took a tumble in practice yesterday. I just wonder how that will affect him tonight. Yeah, he's been in the wars a bit this year. He started off with a big crash in Lechno. This man, though, Antonio Lindback, it could be his night, you know. He has really turned his season around. He's charging up the leaderboard in the overall standings, and another big night from him. 17 points it was in Italy for Lindback. Artem Laguta, welcome back to him after his injury, kept him out of the Terranzano Grand Prix, and also he missed Cardiff, which was back in June because he didn't have a visa. Now, Emil Sayfudinov, he will no doubt remember last year when he suffered a wrist injury here. Yeah, well, Thomas Golub helped him on his way with that. There's no question that Golub was guilty in that incident, and he'll be looking for a big night. But this man also will be. He's been in the wars, hasn't ridden this week, got a back injury, suffered concussion just over a week ago. So, home track, he'll be looking for a really big performance. Now, Nicky Pedersen, triple world champion. Nicky started the series with a win in Lechno, but only managed 3 points in Terranzano a fortnight ago. Bitterly disappointing display. This man, though, was the complete opposite. He won in Terranzano. Can be inconsistent. Now what he needs to do, he's got himself into the top 8, needs to keep pushing on, needs a strong performance again tonight. Chris Holder of Australia, currently 4th in the World Championship, had to sit out a couple of domestic meetings in the UK in the week because he crashed at Wolverhampton last Monday. And Kenneth Pierre now, a rider who is a very fast starter and a rider who is right on the cusp of the top 8, got 17 points. Got 12 points in Italy a fortnight ago. Now, Chris Harris under pressure. Yeah, disappointing so far this season, without question. He is needing a big result here this evening. It's grippy, and generally on grippy surfaces, he is someone that can come good. Now, 41 years of age, leads the World Championship by 22 points. What a story for Greg Hancock. Can he go on and finish the job? He lives in Sweden now as well. Now, what about Rune Holter? Well known here at this track. He's a Manila favourite. Won here last year as well. Yeah, needs another big performance, struggling with injuries and has had a tough season. This man also has had a tough season. A lot of people's pre-season favourite to be world crowned again, but he's not looking like he's going to be world champion this year, but has made every final here. Yeah, good point. Jarek Hampel, number 2 in the world, and last time out got 12 points in Italy after a disappointing Cardiff. And what about the world champion now, Thomas Golub, 22 points behind Hancock. Pressure on, a big night needed by Golub. Yeah, huge night needed for the world champion. Disappointing in Terranzano, disappointing in Cardiff, of course, as well. Fabulous performance in the World Cup. He needs to bring that sort of form here tonight if he wants to hang on to his world title. Well, a terrific lineup and a terrific atmosphere here in Manila as we take you through the lineup for the first 4 heats.
Chris Holder.
Well, as we said, injured in the week.
Andreas Jonsson.
Winner last time out.
Nicky Pedersen.
Needs a good performance here tonight, no doubt.
Freddie Lindgren.
Yeah, home rider looking to go all the way tonight.
Thomas Golub.
Big night for Golub, needs a big performance.
Kenneth Pierre.
Kenneth Pierre, been in good form this year.
Chris Harris.
Well adrift in the battle for the top 8.
Jason Kropp.
Can he make it 7 in a row?
Janusz Kolodze.
Well, Kolodze looked a little bit better in Italy a fortnight ago.
Artem Laguta, he needs to just get himself well and truly involved tonight.
Lindback in form and backed by many.
Jarek Hampel.
Classy performer, Hampel always.
His 3rd Grand Prix appearance as a wild card.
Can he make it back-to-back wins here?
Emil Sayfudinov.
Needs a good display, he's in the top 8.
Greg Hancock.
22 points in the lead, Greg Hancock. What a performance so far.
Well, there's an air of anticipation now, Kelvin, all around this G&B Arena here in Melilla. There's a terrific crowd. There is just the one gap on the back straight where I know there's a lot of sponsors that are being entertained, particularly by that man Andreas Jonsson here tonight. And when you look at the lineup, the heat number one, it's a terrific lineup. As we see packed terracing here and this unique venue, which is in the middle of the forest. You would not believe that a sporting amphitheatre is where it is here in the Swedish forest, if you like.
It is well off the beaten track, and coming here today,
there's the gap.
Exactly, that's Andreas Jonsson's supporters. They'll be filing in very shortly, I'm sure. But it's a fabulous-looking lineup for Heat 1. Lindgren, Pedersen, Jonsson and Holder. That could grace the final later on. You wouldn't be surprised to see those 4 riders go all the way. But I think it's an important night for Andreas Jonsson in regard that he clearly is a world-class rider, but finds it difficult to put 2 big performances back-to-back, and he's got an ideal opportunity here tonight.
When you look at his first 2 scores of the year, 5 points in Lejno, 6 points in Gothenburg, it was a woeful start for AJ, as we see Nicky Pedersen in the blue helmet colour. But AJ, yes, a woeful start to the campaign, but he's just got in the top 8, and his ultimate aim, like everybody else, is to be world champion, and really he's not looking anywhere near world championship material.
No, and he's 30 years of age now. He has plenty of experiences, and he needs to find that consistency because he's perfectly good enough.
Chris Holder, 4th in the World Championship then, ahead of tonight, 63 points, 2 points behind 3rd place Jari Campbell. Nicky Pedersen currently 7th, but it's a clutch of riders. We mentioned it earlier, Kelvin. 9 points separate 5th place Sai Fudinov and 9th place Kenneth Bier. And Freddie Lindgren, who's out in this race, he's on 47 points in 10th place. Big night needed for Fast Freddie, I would suggest.
Yeah, he's got some injury concerns. He hasn't ridden this week, but he'll be focused now, and the adrenaline will be kicking in. A big night is required by all riders, of course, and particularly in your first race. He's got the inside gate. It's a very competitive Heat 1, and he'll be looking to try and get off to a sharp start.
Great atmosphere then, bumper crowd here in Sweden at the G&B Arena in Melilla. That man knows the track inside out. So does Andreas Jonsson. And heat number 1 is a terrific lineup. Emil Sayfutdinov watching on. He hurt his wrist here last year. They're hoping that it's not such a painful night tonight. And all these riders know it's vital to get off to a good start here. This is round number 7 of the FIM Speedway World Championship Grand Prix Series for 2011. About to get underway. Heat number 1 coming up. So heat number 1 then, Freddie Lindgren going off the inside, the home favourite here. Nicky Pedersen, triple world champion, goes off gate 2. Andreas Jonsson, another home favourite here, he goes off gate number 3. And Chris Holder from Australia going off the outside. Kelvin, an amazing lineup to get us underway tonight.
Yeah, terrific lineup. Holder on the outside. We saw him earlier in the week having problems at Wolverhampton Speedway. He then subsequently missed the rest of the week, but they settled down. Heat 1 about to get underway.
Who will make the start? Craig Ackroyd, the referee, and it's a good one from Pedersen off gate number 2. And now Freddie Lindgren charges up the inside. What a move that is from Fast Freddie.
And Holder
as well, coming through into second. What a dramatic start to this meeting. Pedersen has gone to last place right now. Freddie Lindgren has the lead. Look at Jonsson here coming up the inside as well.
Plenty of grip out there. Lindgren's gone wide. Jonsson comes roaring up the inside. He was nowhere on the opening lap. He's come right round the inside. Riders certainly caught out by how much traction's out there. Pedersen initially fantastic out of gate 2, is now relegated to the back. And Andreas Jonsson, the Swedish winner from Terenzano 2 weeks ago, looks like he's going to start his Grand Prix in fine style.
Yeah, brilliant ride from Jonsson. It was all very tense and very tight for a lap and a half there. Jonsson has that lead. Second place is Freddie Lindgren, who is just back from injury, remember. Pedersen's pulled up at the back now, and it's major disappointment for the 3-time world champion. But coming across the line for victory, Andreas Jonsson the winner, Freddie Lindgren second, Chris Holder was third. Quite a tasty start to the night, Kelvin.
Superb opening ride there from Andreas Jonsson. I walked the track earlier. It looked like there was plenty of traction out there, and so it proved. You sense that Pedersen got caught out by conditions, but Jonsson didn't. He knew the fastest way round there. He came charging up the inside, got himself to the front. The ideal start for the winner last time out in Terenzano.
Well, I'll tell you what, this track is superb. The way the straights are quite short, the straights, and the bends are wide and sweeping. And it does provide great racing here in Millila. Andreas Jonsson, the winner. Freddie Lindgren was second. Chris Holder was third. Pedersen did finish at the back, ultimately there. And Andreas Jonsson, 8th place in the World Championship before tonight. Carl Blomfeldt there, his engine tuner. And the Jonsson camp is a much happier camp these days.
After a slow and difficult start to this year's campaign, it appears that things are turning around. Pedersen makes a great start from gate 2. He gets shoved out the way initially by Fredrik Lindgren. Holder then comes surging up into second place, but by the end of the first lap, Jonsson was into second place. Lindgren just leaves that little bit of room there around the first and second corner, second time of asking, and Jonsson does not hesitate. Look at that strong move there from Lindgren to roar up the inside, but AJ out in front, he really did look terrific and delighted, of course.
Tough start to the meeting. Andreas Jonsson, who has a lot of sponsors being entertained here. Freddie Lindgren will be happy to get the 4 laps under his belt. There were horrific injuries that he suffered a couple of weeks ago at Wolverhampton. I'm only going on what I've been told about the crash, but it was down the back straight at fast speed, and he landed on his head. And it was a horrific injury, and it's good to see him back on a bike, it has to be said. Now, heat number 2, big night for this man, Thomas Gollob.
Yeah, the world champion, he's been up and down this year. We haven't seen the consistency from him this year as we did last year. If he can bring his A game, then he can win anywhere, anytime. Like, the performance in the Speedway World Cup was absolutely extraordinary, and subsequently then in Terenzano, having been there twice previously and only dropped 3 points, he really did have a very disappointing night indeed. So from that point of view, Gollob 22 points behind, really has got to kick into gear tonight.
Jason Crump off the inside, 3 times world champion. Chris Harris goes off gate 2. Under pressure, the Great Britain man for a place in the top 8. Needs a big display tonight. Kenneth Pierre goes off gate number 3 in white. And Thomas Gollob, the reigning world champion, as Kelvin just mentioned, 22 points behind Greg Hancock. Needs a bumper night tonight. Pressure on Gollob. And Greg Hancock watching on here as we build up to a vital heat number 2. Even at this early stage of the meeting here in Millila, a reminder, every point you score in every race contributes to your overall Grand Prix total. As we prepare for the start of heat number 2, it's a good getaway by Crump off the inside. Pierre's fast starting. Gollob has been squeezed out now. Gollob is at the back and sweeping hard. Is Kenneth Pierre going for the first spot, but Crump holds the lead at the moment. Pierre's going wide. Pierre's got some drive. Crump takes him out. Second place, Pierre. Third place is Chris Harris, and Thomas Gollob is struggling at the back, but also Chris Harris, who locks up, and now Gollob is able to come through, but Gollob was all over the place.
Gollob looks really circumspect. He's not attacking the track like Crump is out in front. Crump made a great start from the inside. He's being challenged hard by Kenneth Pierre in second place. Gollob is all over the place. Harris is at the back, courtesy of a big mistake that allowed Gollob through, but Gollob is clearly struggling with conditions. He's not quick and tailed off in third place. Looks like Harris could well roar around the outside.
Harris again.
Yeah, roars around the outside.
Gollob, astonishing speedway here as Thomas Gollob is riding well below, and Jason Crump is going to start with a win. Kenneth Pierre second, Chris Harris third. Thomas Gollob looks well and truly beaten. And astonishing. Is this the beginning of the end of the World Championship defence for Thomas Gollob? But for Jason Crump, superb ride. Kelvin, talk to me about the first and second turn here. Some of the boys are locking up and finding it a little bit difficult.
Well, certainly Harris then pulled a big locker in the middle of the corner where it's a bit greasy, where they watered it fairly late on. But Crump out in front, picking up the big 3 points, will be delighted to get off to a fine start.
Crump the winner then. Kenneth Pierre was second. Chris Harris was third. Back in the Crump pit area.
No, talking about the track again, it's difficult coming in where they've ripped the track up. It's really driving the bikes into the corner, and Gollob just didn't attack it enough. Clearly not happy with conditions out there. Look at Crump, he makes a super start from the inside. The bike absolutely drives all the way there. Kenneth Pierre's right with him, very nearly gets round the outside of him early doors, but Crump doesn't put a wheel wrong here and hangs on out in front. But look at that, that looks tentative to me from Thomas Gollob. He's not really attacking it. And Chris Harris, who made a big mistake earlier on to slip to the back, he was then relatively comfortably able to just slip round the outside of him there and get himself into third place. But the world champion looks, well, to be honest, really well and truly off the pace. That man, though, he's made 6 finals here, starting in fine style.
Yeah, looking good, Jason Crump, very impressive. 129th Grand Prix appearance tonight, and for Thomas Golub it's back to the drawing board. As we said, in Terranzano only managed 5 points, and when you put that together with Cardiff in June, he's only got 12 points from the last 2 Grand Prix.
I mentioned before, the last 2 Grand Prix he has been very disappointing. In between, he put in this astonishing performance in Gorzów in the Speedway World Cup, where he was absolutely fabulous, near enough carried the team to victory there, but subsequently has not reproduced that sort of form, and certainly evidence of his opening ride well off the pace.
Now heat number 3 coming up. Artem Laguta, the Russian, is back in the GP after missing the last 2. Heat number 3 this is, with Antonio Lindback in blue, backed by a lot of people tonight, I know, who fancy him for victory here. Antonio Lindback, because he's in fine form. Jarek Hampel goes off the inside, and Hampel will sense an opportunity with Golub struggling that he can maybe sneak into the top 2. Antonio Lindback goes off gate number 2. Artem Laguta is off gate 3, and Janis Kolodze, who had a spill in practice here yesterday, he goes off the outside. This is heat number 3.
Yeah, Kolodze has had a few incidents this year. Got a lot of carbon fibre on his bike, and I do believe part of it actually broke. Just looking at Lindgren there, just settling down, but Hampel on the inside, favourite here for me.
Heat number 3 here in Melilla, the GMB Arena. Fantastic shaped track, but some of the boys are struggling, and it's a good start from Hampel off the inside, and Lindback was doing some grass tracking almost there up the inside and takes 2nd place now. That was ruthless as far as Antonio Lindback is concerned, but Jarek Hampel has got the race under control already. 2nd place is Lindback, 3rd place now is Kolodze. Artem Laguta struggling going into that turn, but what a ride from Hampel. He's got the race well and truly under his belt here.
Well, I'll tell you what, you know, Lindback in 2nd place and Janis Kolodze are both struggling with conditions. It's breaking up going into the corners, and certainly it is not easy, and the rider's going to need a few laps. But look at Hampel out in front. He's attacking it, really positive, not worried about conditions, and he's going further and further away. He had a fantastic start off the inside, and this looking really very impressive. Probably going to win by the biggest margin so far.
It's almost a length of the straight. He now goes into turns 3 and 4 as Lindback's just down the back straight. Impressive stuff here from Jarek Hampel of Poland. He's going to take the checkered flag. Hampel wins it. 2nd place Lindback, 3rd place there was Janis Kolodze, and that was pretty impressive by Jarek Hampel. But you're quite right, Kelvin, conditions are playing their part here in the early stages. The track is catching 1 or 2 of the boys out.
Well, it's where they've ripped it up this afternoon, and there's plenty of grip out there, but it is very difficult, and it's breaking up, and there's a little bit too much grip going into the corners, and riders are finding it difficult. You've got to attack it like Hampel did, but the problem is that when you hit the front, it's very difficult to claw the man back then.
Hampel the winner with Lindback 2nd, Kolodze was 3rd. Lindback, though, almost had both wheels over the white line in that first turn. And remember, if they do go over the white line, then you are excluded from the race. But Lindback there really worked it hard, as we see the pits that are high up over the 4th turn here in the GMB Arena, and Jarek Hampel impressive. But watch out for the man in blue. Look at that. Wow.
It was jumped onto the inside there. His back wheel very nearly went over a white line. Hampel out in front was really very, very quick indeed. And he was absolutely flying.
Track record, Kelvin.
Well, no surprise to me there. He did make no mistake whatsoever. He was absolutely wheel perfect, right out in the dirt, run into the line with all that dirt out there. He maximised his performance. He went further and further away. Totally the opposite of the performance with Hampel from Golub. Golub was completely it just wasn't attacking the track. These 2 boys, though, Hampel and Lindback, will be pretty pleased with their opening rides.
So Jarek Hampel has broken the Melilla track record here at the home of Dakana in the Swedish League. It's a fantastic start for Hampel. He'll know the news will have been relayed back to him that he's the new track record holder.
Yeah, there were 4 track record holders prior to that, all on the same time. And certainly now he's snatched that away from riders like Nicky Pedersen and Andreas Johnson. Antonio Lindback shared it with those boys. Hans Andersson also was involved there. So brilliant ride from Jarek Hampel, and as I say, no better way to start the meeting than 3 points in the bag.
It was 55.9. Hampel has just clocked 55.7 seconds on this 305-metre circuit. Heat number 4 is coming up. Hancock goes off the inside, the series leader. Emil Saifutinov goes off gate number 2. Rune Holter, a winner here last year, goes off gate 3. Thomas H. Jonasson going off the outside. All 4 of these riders will have watched with interest the first 3 heats from the pits area, and they'll have seen that it's interesting to say the least, the conditions early on here. Heat number 4 it is then, and away from the start this time up to that first turn. Hancock hits the front early on. Watch out for Jonasson and Seifudenhoff. Jonasson up the inside in yellow. Seifudenhoff charging through as well. Hancock holds his nerve and goes wide. Jonasson has the lead now. Hancock second in red. Seifudenhoff's coming through, and Hancock's in danger of going to the back, but Holter quite... Oh! And that's a nasty smash as Hancock goes down as well. 3 riders down on the deck, and once again it's that particular part of track where
coming into turn 1 there, it's just breaking up and riders are getting a ton of grip going in. It pushes hard. Seifudenhoff up the inside of Thomas H. Jonasson, and Jonasson there just seems to sort of lose traction at the back of the bike. And I'll tell you what, if they all get up here, it's going to be remarkably lucky. Look, here comes, does he clip him there? Yes, he does. He does give him a shove, and that just unsettles him. And I've got to say that Seifudenhoff coming in so hard. Hancock also, there was in trouble coming into the corner. It's just there's a bit of contact there between the 2 riders, and both of them out of control. I would suggest, is that the exclusion light of yellow come on there, Nigel? The yellow exclusion light?
Yep, so
it is.
Thomas H. Jonasson is the man. The Swedish fans are not happy with that.
I would think he's a bit unfortunate there. I suggest that Emil Seifudenhoff certainly helped him on his way.
Well, Jonasson down on the deck. We wish him well and hope that he's going to be up and about very shortly. Seifudenhoff still having treatment as well, but Thomas H. Jonasson has been excluded from the restart.
It's not often we see such grippy conditions in a Grand Prix, and I would suggest that it is catching out quite a few people. Thomas H. Jonasson, and the reaction of the Swedish crowd is certainly they're not in agreement with Craig Ackroyd, the referee here. And I have some sympathy there. I think that Seifudenhoff was certainly gave him a shove as they came together there.
Well, you can only presume that Craig Ackroyd believes that he didn't get a shove and that Jonasson went down of his own accord.
Well, yeah, but there you are. It's clear as not. You know, he just runs in the side of him, and that's you know, certainly Jonasson had pulled a bit of a locker. The other 2 boys did remarkably well. Seifudenhoff is the one yet to get up here, so he has come off second best here, and he may not be able to take his place in the rerun, but far from ideal start either way from both those riders. And also, I tell you what, Greg Hancock, who made a great start, got himself in a very vulnerable position. Look at him there coming in the corner. Those 2 boys there, well, look at Seifudenhoff. He is just out of control, and bam, in against the back of the bike.
Emil is up and walking away. That is great news. Emil Seifudenhoff is up and walking back to the pits area. It's a fair old walk from that second turn back to the pits, and he will be invited back for the restart.
The more you see the replays, Nigel, I suggest that the more he's been a touch fortunate there not to have been excluded. You have to say that he came roaring in underneath Thomas H. Jonasson, and there was quite clearly contact between the 2 riders, and he helped Jonasson on his way. So a tough start for Jonasson, but hey, Seifudenhoff's got a second chance.
Well, let's hear from the new track record holder, Jarek Hampel, with Steve Brandon.
Jarek Hampel, the winner of the last heat. You broke the track record, a good performance.
Yeah, I feel really quick on the track in my first race. Yeah, the track is pretty grip, and there is a few rats, so I try to use them and try to go the fastest like I can. And yeah, I beat this record. I feel very good.
Looks to be a place you want to be in front. It's quite messy if you've got to chase people out there at the moment.
Yeah, still it's so many races in front of me. Now I feel very quick, but I need to take care about my setup in the bike because later the track's coming changing. Yeah, but whatever, you know, I try to do the best job today.
You've put yourself in a good position in the championship this year, but you really need to push on and accumulate more points.
Yeah, I really want to. I really want to get a lot of points because this is so important for me now, and I start very good and try to keep that.
Thanks for your time.
Thanks.
Yeah, congratulations to Jarek Hampel. As Thomas H. Jonasson, well, excluded by Craig Ackroyd, the referee, and you could see from his reaction he was furious with that. And the fans not happy with the decision either, but quite clearly Craig Ackroyd has looked at it and felt that Thomas H. Jonasson caused a stoppage of the race, and by that one can only presume that Craig Ackroyd doesn't believe that Thomas H. Jonasson had a shove from Seifudenhoff. That is the only explanation We can get Sayfutdinov going around the corner.
But did he have a look at it then, Nigel? Because clearly on the replays you can see that Sayfutdinov, there is contact between the two boys. It's not malicious. Sayfutdinov is charging hard. He came up the inside there, but he did touch him, but the referee's not going to change his mind. But for that man now, he has the opportunity to get himself prepared for the rerun and get himself well and truly involved. I think also it's an opportunity for Greg Hancock to have a bit of a think about track conditions, because he was struggling.
He made the gate, Greg Hancock, from the inside, and then he actually let the lead slip as he went wide, and Hancock will have to look at that, as you say quite rightly, Kelvin. He'll be looking at that and realising that thankfully he avoided a more major collision there. And here we see the incident one more time. Now, yes, Jonasson in yellow is excluded.
But Sayfutdinov hits him and then he goes down, so it's a touch harsh, I suggest. You know, Sayfutdinov's come roaring in there on the inside a little bit too quick, tricky to catch conditions. That angle's not that conclusive. It looks like Jonasson may have gone down, but when you see it from the outside, there's no question that the two riders come together.
Well, here we see it again. Now, Jonasson in yellow, is he touched by Sayfutdinov here?
There.
I don't think it's conclusive.
Not on that angle it isn't, but when you see it from the outside, you can clearly see that Sayfutdinov's spike gives him a shove just as he's going down. He is pulling a bit of a locker, but he possibly would have saved it. But hey, let's conjecture now. The fact is that Craig Ackroyd isn't going to change his mind, and I do feel some sympathy for Thomas H. Jonasson.
Let's get some reaction from Andreas Jonsson, winner of Heat 1, with Steve Brandon.
Andreas Jonsson, tough start for some of the boys in Heat 4, but a great start for you in Heat 1.
Yeah, you know, I missed the start a little bit. I was moving a little bit from the tape and I just missed it, but bike was pulling good and I just saw what's going to happen. You know, Freddie pushed Nicky a little bit, so I tried to cut back, and you know, Chris was there a little bit earlier, so I got messed up and I felt like I was last out of the first corner, but made a tight line in there in the second one and got past nearly all of them, past Freddie into the second lap, and that on the inside too. So just a great start so far.
A great reception for all the Swedish riders, for all the riders, but you got a very big cheer. It must be great for the adrenaline before a meeting.
Oh, definitely. You know, I'm just been so nervous today. All the fans and all the sponsors and everything. I'm just shaking. You know, just trying to keep the nerves on band. You know, just try to keep it down. So I'm trying to stay as cool as I can now, just to make as good racing as I can.
You put yourself in a great position last time with a win. You just must consolidate that now.
Trying to, you know, just the plan today is trying to reach the final here and get as many points as we can. And
thanks for talking to me.
Thank you.
Well, Andreas Jonsson clearly a happy man, and Sayfutdinov ready for the restart, back with his race jacket on. Controversial decision by Craig Ackroyd, many believing that he's got that one wrong and that Sayfutdinov hit Thomas H. Jonasson.
He did.
And that Jonasson is unlucky to be excluded there. And,
you know, so yeah, he may well have got that wrong, but you know, it's he obviously didn't see that. The angle that really is conclusive for me is the one where you see it from the outside, not from the inside. It's not so easy to see, but you know, it's difficult track conditions. I think it's caught out more than one rider. There's no question about that. You see riders hitting the front and they can really then pick their way and really attack the track. But the inside, particularly on the entrance to turn one, it's quite, you can, from our commentary position, you can actually see the track is really rutted up and broken up there, where they ripped the track. It really quite hard this afternoon. And they've left the dirt. They haven't really packed it back in, and I think it's unusual conditions for a Grand Prix. I think it will improve. I think when riders figure it out, I think it'll get a lot better.
Well, there's a lot of criticism from experts about a slick track. When tracks are slick, people complain about it. Here we have dirt and grip on the track tonight. And it does cause incidents like this, I guess, and unpredictable situations in a Grand Prix. But the shape of the track is what I like, Kelvin. I think it's a beautiful racing shape.
Proper speedway track, isn't it? You know, it's not too big, it's wide, it's banked. Yeah, it's very similar to Lejno, isn't it? You know, you've got that wide bank. It's only just over 300 metres. It's the ideal shape. Now, the rerun of this race, it's obviously got plenty of talent still out there. Hancock, the World Championship leader, on the inside. Will he now cope with conditions a lot better?
So heat number 4 coming up then. Second time of asking 3 riders only, so that gives an opportunity for Greg Hancock to again extend his lead over Thomas Gollop in the World Championship. Jari Campbell now on 68 Grand Prix points. Thomas Gollop still only on 73. So Hancock is going to extend his lead here, even with third place here, which is guaranteed because this man is excluded, Thomas H. Jonassen.
As long as he finishes.
Yeah, as long as he finishes.
As long as he finishes, but I'm sure he will do. But he's on the inside gate. He made a really sharp start initially, but just allowed the bike to run a little bit wide in turns 3 and 4 and found himself blocked out and then relegated towards the back. So he must have learned from that. He's a savvy rider, an experienced rider. He'll be looking to try and ride a little bit tighter this time.
So we prepare for heat number 4. And the restart then. Greg Hancock going off the inside with Emil Sayfutdinov going off gate number 2. Rune Holter off gate 3. No rider off the outside. Second time of asking. Race number 4 it is then. The green light is on. And the tape dries. And who will make the start? Sayfutdinov has made a beauty. Hancock on the inside now goes wide. But he's been passed by Sayfutdinov. Holter's third. Hancock second now. Holter is going to have a go though in the white helmet colour to try and come around Greg Hancock. But Sayfutdinov is looking very quick here with Hancock second.
Fabulous first lap from Sayfutdinov, roared around the outside of Greg Hancock, but look at Rune Holter. Holter up the inside of Hancock into second place, charging hard there. Of course, he knows this place very well indeed. Hancock now coming back at him, tight going into turn 1 for the second time around. Certainly conditions again, riders really having to work physically very hard indeed. But Sayfutdinov, like Hampel, once he's hit the front, really flying.
Sayfutdinov was having treatment just a few moments ago, but has got the lead now and is looking simply superb, the talented young Russian. Into turns 3 and 4 we go. Holter is second. Third place is Greg Hancock, the series leader, but Emil Sayfutdinov starts with a victory. And when you bear in mind just a few moments ago there were serious concerns over him as he was laying on the track after that incident, but well, he may have been fortunate to have been allowed back in many people's eyes, but he's taken a full advantage and has got the victory under his belt. 3 big points for Sayfutdinov, and he did it impressively right from the start there. Greg Hancock seemed to be calculating his riding there, riding a little bit cautiously, I would suggest, Hancock, as Sayfutdinov wins the race. Holter was second after passing Greg Hancock, who looked a little bit cautious, and now we see, after 4 heats, everybody's ridden 1. Hampel, Crump, Jonsson and Sayfutdinov are the race winners. Well, Hancock then a little bit cautious perhaps there, Kelvin.
Yeah, I think he got caught out first time out in this race where he rode a little bit wider and they went round the inside of him. He then rode slightly tighter and they all went round the outside of him. Certainly Sayfutdinov did on the opening lap. And then Rune Holter got a really strong run at him coming out of turns 1 and 2 on the second lap. Look at Sayfutdinov. Absolutely terrific in that first corner, battling really hard, showing no ill effects of that crash earlier on whatsoever. Just goes out there absolutely determined to win the race, and so he does. You've got to say that Greg Hancock struggled here because Rune Holter was able to turn back up the inside and get himself into second place.
Four races gone then, Kelvin, and pretty interesting so far. Sayfutdinov looks in a bit of discomfort down in the pits area, looks in pain, but what a fantastic race win that was. And now Greg Hancock talking to Stefan Andersson, the former rider, of course, who's been an integral part of his pit crew at the GPs this year. And, well, an interesting start to the Grand Prix, it has to be said, Kel.
Yeah, conditions tricky, unusually, for the completely different reasons. It's grippy out there, and certainly on the entrances to both corners, it's quite grippy, and it's pushing the riders into the corner, and that's putting lots of weight on the front wheel, which is a very uncomfortable ride, feeling as a rider. But riders that hit the front and then really attack it and carry the speed through the corners are smoothing it out and carrying plenty of speed. But they're grading extensively now and conditions will improve.
Yeah, a little bit of tractor racing going on here in Melilla now as the interval attraction, as the track is graded. But yeah, I mean, the shape of the track is superb. But it's got to be said that the conditions have played their part, particularly in the first and second turn, where riders have been locking up and having all sorts of worries. It's really thrown a spanner in the works here tonight. Now, Kenneth Pierre, very fast starting Dane, is with Steve Brandon.
Kenneth, a solid 2 points on what looks to be quite a tricky track early doors.
Yeah, it's. I think the track is nice, but a bit tricky for early on. But after each track, it's going to be nicer.
for you tonight, though, all about getting as many points as you can, as always?
Yeah, I have to get into this top 8 first, but you know, it's getting pretty close up to top 6 and 5, and just do the best you can do and see where you end up.
I mean, every meeting we always talk about it, they're long, but they seem to go very quick. You have to be very quick with thinking, changing decisions.
Yeah, it's definitely first corner. If you don't make a start, you have to think where to go, and definitely bike set-offs. And well, yeah, it's a long night to go, but I was happy after my first race.
Good man, thank you.
All right, thanks.
Yeah, good stuff from Kenneth Pierre as we build up to heat number 5 now. Freddie Lindgren, for your comeback meeting after bashing your head and suffering neck and back injuries. A track surface like this is probably the last surface you want, Kelvin, when you've been feeling second hand.
Absolutely, and he did remarkably well. He picked up 2 points, and he will be pleased with his 2 points.
Laguta looking for his first point of the night.
Jason Crump.
Terrific start for Crump.
Freddie Lindgren.
2 points to his name so far.
Can he make amends in this next race?
Kenneth Pierre.
Just heard from him, 2 points from his opening ride.
Nicky Peterson.
Disappointing first ride.
Jarek Hampel.
The new track record holder here in Melilla.
Emil Seifedinov.
Looking good so far.
Andreas Jonsson.
Very impressive race winner of the first of the night.
Chris Harris.
Conditions should suit him tonight.
Greg Hancock.
Very calculated ride in his opener, stayed out of trouble in the end.
Antonio Lindbeck.
Looking good again, Lindbeck.
A hard-fought second spot first up.
Found it hard going in his opening ride.
Tomasz Gollo.
Well off the pace in his first ride.
Chris Holder.
Needs to pick it up in his next ride.
Well, we've seen plenty of track grading here, so it will be interesting to see if the track surface changes and settles down here as we build up to heat number 5 on a beautiful sunny evening, it has to be said, here in Melilla, the G&B Arena. And Jason Crump, winner of his opening ride, is going off gate 3 this time. And in Thomas Jonassen, going off the inside in the red helmet colour, it's got to be said that Thomas Jonassen will be desperate to make up for lost time after his unlucky exclusion.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Unlucky, and he will be fired up. And look out the other 3 riders, because Jonassen is an exciting rider, even when he's quite calm. So now that he's fuming about the fact that he got excluded in the previous race, but he hasn't got to wait long to actually get that out of his system. He's right up here again, coming off a good gate off the inside, so he'll be looking for 3 points.
Freddie Lindgren, home rider here then. Thomas Jonassen desperate to make up for lost time as they go down the hill and onto the track, ready for heat number 5. Now, Freddie Lindgren is a man with a mission. 10 points, 10th place before tonight.
Yeah.
And desperate to break into that top 8, Kelvin.
Yeah, and he's a rider that's been disappointing and frustrating in the Grand Prix generally. He's been so good in the leagues, but has struggled to reproduce that form in the GPs. He's been better this year. He's lying in 10th place. He's not far outside the top 8, so this track he knows very well, so he'll be looking to do the business tonight.
Yeah, Lindgren could do with a semi-final appearance tonight just to stay in contention for the top 8. Remember, the top 8 riders in the Grand Prix guarantee themselves a place for the next year in the World Championship Series. We've got the Grand Prix Challenge coming up as well.
Next weekend, yeah, just down the road at Vetlanda. What a track that is. That's going to be a terrific meeting. And, of course, the top 3 will then become fully fledged Grand Prix riders for 2012.
Heat number 5 it is then here. As we say, a beautiful sunny evening here in Melilla as we build up to race number 5. Heat number 5, Thomas H. Jonassen then going off the inside in the red helmet from Sweden. Hasn't completed a race yet. Freddie Lindgren goes off gate number 2. 2 points for the home rider. Jason Crump, 3 times world champion from Australia, off gate 3. Artem Laguta going off the outside in the yellow helmet colour. There has been a lot of track grading. Tomasz Golub, the world champion, keeping a close eye on his monitor. Greg Hancock as well will be keeping a close eye on how the track settles down now after that extensive track grading in between heats 4 and 5. Heat number 5 it is then, and away from the start start. Crump has made a great start from gate number 3. Jason Crump in white. And now Lindgren swoops up the inside in the blue helmet colour. Freddie Lindgren is second. Third place is Thomas H. Jonasson. Laguta is at the back, but the lead is with Jason Crump, and Freddie Lindgren is chasing hard here.
Fabulous start from Jason Crump out of gate 3. He replicated what he did out of gate 1 in his opening ride. Lindgren just pulls a bit of a locker there and kills his momentum and allows Thomas H. Jonasson to really start putting pressure on Frederick Lindgren for second place. But the 3-time world champion out in front really is looking composed and fast, loving conditions.
Yeah, Jason Crump very smooth and very stylish up front as we see Lindgren in second. Third place is Thomas H. Jonasson, who's winding it on here. But look at the length of the lead for Jason Crump. And so far, it has to be said as well, in this race, heat number 5, the track seems to have calmed down a little bit. The lead is with Jason Crump now. Second place is Freddie Lindgren of Sweden. Third is Thomas H. Jonasson. But Jason Crump moves on to 6 points out of 6. He's looking good and has done a lot of hard work already in his bid to get towards a semi-final place.
Wow.
6th in the world standings before tonight. A big display from Crump, though, similar to his 18 points in Copenhagen,
yes,
would do him nicely.
Absolutely, and this time 2 weeks ago, after 2 rides, he failed to score. He had 0 next to his name, so the complete reverse 2 weeks later in Sweden. He loves it here. He's never failed to make the final.
Crump is the race winner then. 6 points out of 6 for him. Freddie Lindgren was second. Third was Thomas H. Jonasson, and at the back there was Artem Laguta. So the standings then, Jason Crump leads the Grand Prix with those 6 points, and Freddie Lindgren is on 4 now. Thomas H. Jonasson with just that 1 point, but Jason Crump and his pit crew will be absolutely delighted. It was a wonderful start from gate 3.
Brilliant start. He made a sensational start in his opening ride from the inside. Watch him come out of gate 3, and it's a nice sweep into the first corner if you get there, and he holds the middle of the track and really will perfect, powers down the back straight. Lindgren does well to get up the inside of Thomas H. Jonasson, a hard charging rider from the Swede back in second place. But look at Crump, he really is cruising out in front, clearly likes the grippy conditions. Didn't look like he got out of shape, all under control and really determined out in front. That's what it means to him. 6 points against his name, and he'll be chuffed, but 4 points for Lindgren. That is a solid start from him. He'll be far from displeased with that. That's a solid start for Lindgren. Plenty of possibilities left for him.
As I said, Kelvin, Freddie Lindgren, less than a fortnight ago, landed on his head, hurt his neck, hurt his back. There was serious concern in the hospital in Wolverhampton that he might have bleeding on the brain. Thankfully, that calmed down and everything was okay. He returned back home and flew back to Sweden, and he's riding here tonight. They really are brave, brave souls, these Speedway riders. You have to take your hat off to them. They are unbelievable characters.
Also, a lot of pressure on riders, particularly riders that aren't guaranteed a pick. He has been in and around the scene for a while. He needs to get into that top 8.
So we build up to heat number 6 now here in Melilla, the G&B Arena, and the track did seem to be a lot more consistent in that last race. Look at this for a lineup. Emil Sayfutdinov off the inside, Jari Kampel, the track record holder, off 2, Nicky Pedersen, 3 times world champion, yet to score off 3, and Kenneth Bier going off the outside, the fast starting Kenneth Bier. And Sayfutdinov, well, he looked a little bit uncomfortable back in the pits, but my word, he was an impressive winner of the rerun of heat number 4. This is heat number 6 of the 7th round of the Grand Prix Series, and Sayfutdinov again off the inside gate has that lead. Now Bier going around the outside, stunning move from Kenneth Bier in yellow. Second place Sayfutdinov. Pedersen comes on the inside in white. Nicky Pedersen pushing Sayfutdinov hard. Sayfutdinov holds his nerve, and the man in blue, Jari Kampel, the track record holder, coming around now. Superb ride from Hampel into 3rd place.
Fabulous lap from Kenneth Bier to throw himself to the front. Sayfutdinov was away from the tapes, really sharp, but the first swooping corner from Bier fired himself to the front. Hampel's got himself into 3rd place with Nicky Pedersen once again struggling, but Sayfutdinov, don't rule him out. With just over a lap to go, he's going to give it everything here.
But you know as well as we do, Kelvin, that Kenneth Bier is a very hard rider to pass when he has that lead. Bier holds that lead comfortably now. The man in the yellow helmet colour. Second place in red is Emil Sayfutdinov. Third in blue here is Jari Kampel, and Nicky Pedersen trailing badly at the back again. And the 3 times world champion from Denmark is yet to score from his opening 2 rides. And this is a man, Nicky Pedersen, who only scored 3 a fortnight ago in Terranzano as well. well.
Yeah.
It's getting to the stage now where Pedersen has got a battle on his hands to get in the top 8. Never mind, challenge for the World Championship.
Desperate start for the meeting for Nicky Pedersen. Very hard move he made in turns 3 and 4 the first time around, but failed to pick up a point. Pointless after 2 rides.
Bier, Sayfutdinov, Hampel, the finishing order there. And now after 2 rides, it means that Bier is on 5, so is Sayfutdinov. Hampel sat on 4 with that 3rd place. Every point could prove vital in the Grand Prix, remember. But Kenneth Bier, very quick and so hard to pass when he's in front of you.
Yeah, he is, and Sayfutdinov made ground on him and then pulled a bit of a locker late on in the race, and then that gave him the comfort zone. But watch him come from the outside. He's able to hold his line, and then right in the dirt there, look at that, absolutely flew around that first corner. Of course, he weighs nothing, and he literally hangs on for grim death down that back straight. Sayfutdinov initially makes a hard charge off the start. Look at Nicky Pedersen coming into turn 3. He really pushed really hard, but then gets relegated to the back because Hampel got squeezed out initially and then finds his way into 3rd place and picks up a useful 3rd place and a useful point. But Kenneth Bier, 5 points to his name. Very impressive out in front. Once again, we're seeing a rider, once he gets his nose in front, he looks fairly comfortable.
Superb ride from Kenneth Bier, who switched clubs in England this year, riding for Kings Lynn, former Peterborough man, and that man rides for Peterborough back in the Elite League in British racing. Nicky Pedersen.
Frustration there.
Yeah.
Obviously, but no frustration here. Kenneth Bier, of course, has looked good. He's had his moments this year, hasn't quite managed to really nail a Grand Prix this season so far. Of course, won a Grand Prix last year for the first time in Gothenburg, so Sweden's been kind to him. Maybe Manila tonight. He's looking good so far.
Heat number 7 is coming up. Greg Hancock, the World Championship leader, is off gate 2, but Andreas Jonsson, AJ, winner last time out, winner in Terranzano a fortnight ago. He's off the outside. This is heat number 7. Antonio Lindback off gate number 1. Gate number 2 is Greg Hancock of the United States of America. Chris Harris goes off gate number 3. Made recent changes to his management structure as part of his team. And off the outside, Andreas Jonsson. And, well...
Sayfutdinov struggling there with an ankle or a foot problem. They settle down here now for heat 7. Greg Hancock, is he going to be faster this time?
Well, that's a great start from Chris Harris off gate number 3. Hancock now holds the inside line, but Harris has gone wide. Jonsson is coming around Hancock as well into 2nd place. You said Harris should be suited to the conditions tonight, but Jonsson has swept through, and the Swedish flags are flying here.
Here comes Harris.
Harris
replaced the compliment big style. Fired himself, yeah, absolutely fired himself back to the front. Hard charging move from AJ initially to get up the inside. Harris then squared the corner off. Jonsson's charging hard in 2nd place. Looks like we're going to get a really strong race out in front. Jonsson leg out the back, hanging on for grim death. Hancock a little bit off the pace. Lindback struggling out the back, but the Brit out in front, loving grippy conditions.
What a ride from Chris Harris, and still Jonsson is having a little go to try and pass him, but Harris is going wider than anybody else has gone so far and has got that lead comfortably. This is going to be a much-needed victory for Chris Harris, who comes out of turn 4, and the British fans in the crowd celebrate. Chris Harris with a victory, and it really was a tough race, that one.
Yeah.
Jonsson chased hard after him, passed him. Harris returned the compliment, and that's a great ride.
I just sense that he may have changed his bike there. The bike looked very clean and tidy before that race, so he may have just decided straight away to jump on a spare bike, and I'll tell you what, if that was the case, by golly, it paid big dividends. Brilliant ride from Chris Harris. A strong race also with Andreas Jonsson in 2nd place. That was more like it.
Great ride from Chris Harris of the Great Britain, and Jonsson was 2nd. Greg Hancock was 3rd. It means that Hancock is currently outside of the top 8. The top 8 get through to the semi-finals. Jonsson looking good on 5, and Harris puts himself into the top 8. And that was a terrific race as well between Harris in the white helmet and Andreas Jonsson. Mark Courtney, that you see there at the front of your screen, part of Harris's pit crew.
Well, away from the tapes, you've got to say that Greg Hancock makes a super start from gate 2, but he is once again a little bit, just rides a little bit within himself around that first corner, and they just come at him from every which way. Initially, Harris round the middle of the track like Jason Crump did just a few heats ago. Then AJ comes roaring up the inside, but Harris reads it, squares the corner back off, fires himself up the inside and gets him to the front. That's the sort of ride we're used to seeing from Harris. See the frustration, how delighted he was with that. So Harris moves on to 4 points. That's a good, strong start from him. But the World Championship leader on 2 points, he's finding it tough tonight.
He certainly is, Greg Hancock, but he did a very good job in Italy, Greg Hancock, didn't he? Didn't look at his best.
No.
But still timed his scoring to work to perfection and managed to go all the way in Terranzano. And don't rule Hancock out later in the evening here, although if Hancock has a poor night and Hampel goes on and gets into the final, Hampel will be in contention for the world title, and all of a sudden we could have 3 or 4 riders challenging for the world championship with 4 rounds to go.
Yeah, it could change itself completely.
Oh, yeah.
Golub's out here. He's changed his equipment as well. He's not satisfied with his first bike, so he's out of gate 2 on a fresh machine.
Yep, and Chris Holder goes off the inside then, 1 point to his name. Thomas Golub goes off gate number 2. Janis Kolodze is off gate 3, and Rune Holter going off the outside. Pressure on Golub, has to get something from this race off gate number 2.
Yeah, and when you bear in mind that Hancock's been far from stunning so far, so from the point of view he wins this race, he then actually gets himself just in front with Greg Hancock and gets himself well and truly in the meeting.
So heat number 8 it is. After this race, every rider will have completed 2 rides. It's another fantastic lineup here, and away from the start, Golub's made a good one, but so has Holder off the inside. Now Golub's going to try and squeeze through, but the man in red, Chris Holder, holds the line superbly, and coming through on the inside is Rune Holter in yellow. Golub then almost parks the bike in front of Kolodze, and now Kolodze is at the back, but Golub having a go on Holter here now. The lead, though, impressively, is with Chris Holder.
Holder's good out front, there's no question about that. Looked like for a moment that Golub was going to be right amongst the action, but once again the ride, he's not looking that comfortable out there. Really, Holter was able to charge up the inside. Kolodze is absolutely awful out the back. He just can't turn the bike at all. But Chris Holder, after a difficult week this week, missed plenty of racing. He's looking good, looking strong. Here he goes out in front.
Yeah, Holder crashed whilst riding for Poole in a televised meeting at Wolverhampton that was live on Sky Sports HD on Monday night, and missed out in Sweden on Tuesday and riding for Poole on Wednesday, and also missed a lot of racing, but has got the victory there. And Thomas Golub significantly trails in 3rd, so he fails to capitalise, and now we have a scenario where after 2 rides each, Thomas Golub is on 1, Greg Hancock is on 2. Extraordinary here in Melilla. Here's the results of heat number 8 then, and it's a win for Chris Holder. 2nd place was Rune Holter, 3rd was Thomas Golub, and Janis Kolodze trailed in at the back there. So 2 rides completed by everybody now. Jason Crump is on 6th, then you've got Pierre Jonsen Seifudenhoff on 5, and a whole host of riders on 4 points, but Golub and Hancock outside the top 8. Well, Chris Holder will feel a lot happier about life after this ride. It was impressive from him.
Yeah, he's away from the inside. He makes a good jump and he roars into that first corner. Golub looks like he was going to get it really amongst it there, but then lifts down the back straight, and that allows Rune Holter to steam up the inside. And from then on, he really doesn't land a blow. He gently drifts out of the race. Janis Kolodze found conditions extremely difficult and really was tailed right out the back and fails to score. Got to say, Chris Holder, once he hit the front, he really did look good. But Golub once again looking uncomfortable and clearly not at ease and not at one with his equipment. That man was this time. He moves on to 4 points.
Well, Thomas Golub, 1 point from 2 rides. It's all going wrong for the world champion. But with Hancock not having the best of nights also, it's not a lost cause as far as Thomas Golub is concerned, Kelvin.
No, but it's also an opportunity for him as well, of course. You know, he'll be feeling frustrated that he's aware that Greg Hancock's only scored 2 points from 2 rides, and he will know that he could actually be clawing back into that 22-point lead. So, yeah, he'll be really frustrated about circumstances right now. Conditions are not suiting him. He hasn't found the right setup with his equipment. And he's got 3 more chances. He can still turn it around, but he's going to have to work very hard.
Yeah, he can still get double figures and get through to the semi-finals here in Melilla, the G&B Arena, where we are starting to see some decent racing, and the track has settled down appreciably, Kelv.
They're working very hard. After each 4 races, they are grading extensively because it is just a little bit too grippy, if anything, to be fair. and riders are finding it difficult, and they're getting spread out, and it's not always the best to look at.
Emil Sayfutdinov, serious concerns about his fitness. A major concern for the young Russian. Chris Holder, well, he'll be a happy man. He's now with Steve Brandon.
Chris Holder, good job.
Yeah, it was perfect, mate. I needed that one. The first one was a bit difficult, and the track was a bit tricky as well. So the track's getting better now, and you know, off gate one, it's a tough call to go wide, but I managed to do it and got the wheels in line, and off she went.
It's fair to say it happens all the time, but it looks to be a lot more fun when you can be out in front and not having to worry about chasing people.
Yeah, the track's beautiful when you're out in front, but the first one was tricky. I was chasing, I was in a bit of traffic, and you know, the boys are pulling shapes everywhere, so myself included. And no, it was always good to get the next race out the way, and a good win, so I'm happy with that.
And you can never underestimate the value of a win. It can always give you that little bit of an extra advantage coming down to the countback. Exactly,
the win's a win, mate. You need as many as you can, and I'm really happy with that one. You know, I made a good start and good first lap, and you know, there's 4 more to go, so let's keep going.
You've got to sit and watch 3 more races now before you come out in Heat 12. Is that a hard thing to do for a rider?
Yeah, yes and no. You know, it's a bit tricky, but like the track beds in every time. But you know, I've got to be watching every race to see where the racing line is. It moves every race, so you know, last one out, you got to have a fair idea where to go in that first bend, because it's pretty important.
Give up the good work. Thanks, Chris.
I'm trying.
Yeah, he is trying. He's working hard, and
he's having a good year, isn't he?
Yeah.
You know, he's won a Grand Prix this year. He's 4th in the world right now, and he's a rider with a lot of talent and clearly passionate. Of course, he won the British Grand Prix last year in fine style and really made his presence felt in the Grand Prix series. Just about held on to a top 8 place at the end. He ran out of steam a little bit last year, and you sense that he's been tired recently. You know, he's got a really tough schedule, but so far tonight, you know, he is the sort of rider that I'm sure can capitalise tonight.
Let's hear from Greg Hancock now, the series leader, with Steve Brandon.
Greg, it's probably very scant consolation. You're 1 point better off than we spoke at this point in Italy.
Yeah, that's right. It hasn't been the best of starts for me yet tonight, but you know, it's a little bit different track than we expected, but you know, we got to just put our head down and keep going for it.
Some head scratching and a lot of talking to pits. I think, did I see the 3rd bike being unwrapped already?
Yeah, we pulled that one into shape here just in case we need it, but you know, it's hasn't been the best start. Just got to get my act together.
And what can you do now at this point, thinking about how you can change the bike to make it more suitable?
Well, you know, it's just, well, the first bike wasn't so bad there, you know. Sometimes you make a change just to try it out, but it's probably up to me just to make it happen.
Going to be patient again tonight?
What's that?
You're going to have to be patient again tonight?
Yeah, that's right, but I haven't got much time.
All right, thanks, Greg.
Thanks.
Always has a smile on his face, Greg.
Yeah, it's
Hancock.
difficult to be patient if you haven't got a lot of time, Nigel.
Exactly. But he's always got a smile on his face, but deep down he will be concerned, Kelvin.
Oh, of course, you know, he's fantastic in interviews, always comes across well, but yeah, he wants to pick his game up.
Antonio Lindbäck.
A little bit disappointed with his last outing.
Fredrik Lindgren.
Strong start for Fredrik Lindgren.
4 points from 2 rides.
Kenneth Bjerre.
Flew last time.
Nicky Pedersen.
3 times world champion, yet to score.
Greg Hancock.
More to come from Greg Hancock.
Jason Crow.
Looking brilliant. 6 points out of 6.
Janusz Kordi.
Struggling with conditions so far.
Emil Sayfutdinov.
Concerns about his fitness now.
Andreas Jonsson.
Jonsson looking strong tonight.
Artem Lagut.
Yet to score.
Tomasz Golub.
Got to up his game, Golub.
Chris Harris.
Superb win last time out for the Brit.
Jarek Hampel.
Hampel looking good too.
Chris Holder.
4 points to his name so far.
Thomas Jonasson.
Frustration for Jonsson so far.
Oh, it's a little bit slow there on the Chris Holder caption. I forgot it was my turn there. As we hear from Jonasson now.
Thomas Jonasson, a tough call in Heat 4.
Definitivt. Det var, jag menar, jag känner en knuff och tappar greppet och faller. Och domaren dömer och jag vet inte om det är enligt min åsikt rätt.
3 rides left tonight to make your mark on the meeting.
Absolut, nu är det bara fullt ös som gäller. Jag kommer alltså att ge allt jag har för att vinna mina resterande hit.
Thank you.
Tackar.
Well, Thomas Jonasson with his version in his native tongue of events. As we see the gate stats now, this will be interesting, Kelv.
Yeah, no surprise to see the inside working well. A little bit of a surprise too for me that gate 3 is working so well. I think that gives you a nice sweep round the first corner. Gates 1 and 4 obviously just missing out at this stage, but that will change as the night goes on, and of course conditions change.
It's got the potential to develop into something special, this Speedway meeting. You do feel that the track is getting better?
Yeah, and riders will be adapting and changing their setups and improving their performances in the upcoming races. This is now the meat of the meeting now. You really got to kick on. Lindback, who struggled last time particularly, the man we're looking at, he needs to, you know, find the key to conditions and kick on.
Absolutely right. We're building up to heat number 9. After this round of 4 heats, every rider will have completed 3 rides, and that's where it gets really tight for the semi-finals. 20 races to decide the top 8 riders in the Speedway Grand Prix semi-finals here, and we're getting down to that stage of the season as well now, where we're midway through August, and after this there'll be 4 rounds remaining in the SGP series, and time will be running out for riders who need a top 8 slot. And it'll be getting right down to the wire in the race for the World Championship as well. Now, if Greg Hancock doesn't get it right tonight, Kelvin, then the World Championship could be thrown wide open again.
Yes, and I think he is clearly very aware of that. Everybody's been talking about the fact, well, all Greg's got to do is just keep it going and he'll be a world champion, but very easily said, much more difficult to do. So he'll be hoping to turn his night around now.
In number 9 coming up then, and this will be the 3rd round of races for all the riders here in Mollila, and we've got riders who are all chasing points for the semi-finals. Every one of these riders is in contention. Antonio Lindback off the outside in yellow will be desperate for a good ride here, because Lindback, who was backed by many people, was strongly fancied for a good night tonight, but he's only got 2 from 2 rides so far.
Yeah,
wonderful in his last ride.
He was. He looked pretty good in his opening ride, but then subsequently last time out really didn't look very comfortable at all. That man did, of course. Kenneth Pierre on the inside, he looked really strong and plenty of speed, and has been showing good form. Rune Holter looked better, but got to say, yeah, this is another strong lineup, and Freddie Lindgren coming out of gate 3, a favoured gate. Can he make it work?
Well, heat number 9 it is then here in Mollila. Terrific atmosphere, packed house. The first and second turn is a great start, great sight as you look at it from the home straight here. Terrific atmosphere, and we're building up to heat number 9. So heat number 9 it is then. Kenneth Pierre, an impressive win last time out. He goes off the inside. Rune Holter goes off gate number 2. Freddie Lindgren off gate 3. And Antonio Lindback going off the outside. Every one of these riders needing points to get into the semi-finals here in Mollila. Heat number 9, a lot of track grading once again.
Yeah.
And it is getting better and better, and it has all the makings, the potential to build up to a terrific finish here in Mollila tonight. This is heat number 9 then. The bikes roar, and away from the start, it's a good one from Kenneth Pierre off the inside in red. Lindgren is the man in white. He's going high and wide, but Pierre holds the line. Lindgren's looking quick now in white, trying to hunt down Kenneth Pierre. Now Lindgren just looks up and goes on the inside line. Pierre holds it well, but Lindgren's right up his exhaust pipe. 3rd place is Holter. Lindback disappointing again at the back.
He is indeed, but Kenneth Pierre's not disappointing. He's made a sharp stop away from the inside, held that inside line in the first corner. Oh, Lindback now roars up the inside of Rune Holter. Lindback really now winding it on, getting into 3rd place, a little bit out of shape, but certainly a man that's not out of shape is Kenneth Pierre, looking like he could well be surging back-to-back wins, moving on to 8 points. That might be enough for the semi-finals.
Yep, Kenneth Pierre looking superb here, the Danish international. 35 Grand Prix now that he's ridden in. Kenneth Pierre, he's been in 6 finals in his career, and he's looking very quick tonight. Pierre the winner then. 2nd place was Freddie Lindgren, who's now got 3 second places to his name. 3rd was Antonio Lindback, and Rune Holter trailing at the back. Holter still, of course, struggling with those wrist injuries, and he knows, he's admitted that he could probably do with a month off, but at this time of the year, can't afford to. But Holter is in pain going down the back straight, holding his wrist. But Kenneth Pierre, superb ride,
yeah,
and that's a 2nd straight win.
Really looked strong out out in front, didn't he?
Without a doubt. Kenneth Bjerre, the winner. Freddie Lindgren was second. Now, he looked threatening at first, but Bjerre wouldn't have any of it. Lindback was third. Trailing at the back was Rune Holte, who is in discomfort with those wrist injuries. Bjerre leads the GP now on 8 points. Lindgren on 6. If he keeps it going, Lindgren will get through to the semis, but he could do with a win because of that all-important countback, Kelvin.
Indeed he could, and I'm sure he's very much aware of that. Of course, now this man's got 2 wins to his name and a second place. Look at him on the inside. He makes a really good start here. Clear into the first corner. Here comes Lindgren. I thought for a moment Lindgren might just get a bit more momentum and actually sweep round the outside, but no. Bjerre was brilliant coming out of turn 2. Then Lindback swaps back to the inside, and once they complete the first lap, you know, Kenneth Bjerre has got plenty of speed and comes under not too much pressure. Lindgren in second place has another comfortable ride. Lindback then surges through into third place, and that's a good ride from him. But Kenneth Bjerre on 8 points, he'll be feeling very satisfied with that.
Yeah, 2 wins to his name, Kenneth Bjerre. When he makes the start, so hard to pass. Rune Holte looking tired, looking in pain. Have to feel sympathy for him. He did admit in an interview earlier today, or maybe it was a practice yesterday, that he could probably do with a month off.
Well, conditions also are working against him. It's very physical out there, and if you're carrying an injury, it's going to make you work overtime. And after his third ride there, he looks like he's almost at his wit's end. But this man's not at his wit's end. Jason Crump, he has had his injury problems. Of course, last year he carried one throughout the year and still managed to finish in the top 3 in the world, which was to his credit, but unbeaten so far, Crump.
Yeah, Crump was on 56 before tonight, so he's moved on to 62 points. And if he can carry that on and have a great night here, he could close the gap. But Greg Hancock going out on his 3rd bike of the night. It's only his 3rd ride, and he's on a 3rd different machine.
Well, that gives you an indication of the fact that he's struggling with conditions out there. So they're rolling the dice somewhat. Not quite sure what the right setup is. So 3rd time of asking. He's on a new equipment once again, and he's looking to add to his 2 points.
Janis Kalodze off the inside, just a point so far. Jason Crump, gate 2, 6 out of 6. Greg Hancock, gate 3, needs to get it together, and so does Nicky Pedersen. What is going on with Nicky? Failed to score from 2 rides so far. Has to get it right here. This is heat number 10 in Manila. Watch out for the man in blue, unbeaten so far, and Hancock in white, the series leader. Great start from Crump once again. Now Hancock's going high and wide around the outside, down the back straight, but Crump has the lead. Here comes Pedersen, battling for second place as well. Hancock holds his nerve and holds second place, but Jason... Hancock! Oh!
Brilliant move by Hancock. Crump hangs on out in front. That 3rd bike from Hancock is really roaring well in second place. Crump now hangs on. Hancock up wide, round the outside, putting pressure on. Pedersen's not out of it either. He's looking much more competitive this time out. Beginning to settle down nicely. Crump should pick up his 3rd consecutive win.
And this will put Hancock onto 4 points with 2 rides to go and give him a chance of getting into the semi-finals once again without being at his best, just like Terranzano a fortnight ago. But this man, Jason Crump, is kicking on. He's looking so quick here. The Australian Jason Crump, 3 times world champion and 3 times a winner in Manila tonight now, because that's his hat-trick of victories. 9 points out of 9, and he looks absolutely superb. He's gating brilliantly, and nobody can get past him.
Faultless so far, the 3-time champ. 3 brilliant starts. He came under pressure there for a while. Hancock was alongside him, really did pressurise him early on in the race, but Crump didn't falter, didn't crack under that pressure. He kept the throttle wide open, didn't make any mistakes, and once again stretched his lead. 9 points out of 9, you can't do better than that.
He's in the semi-finals already.
No question about that.
Yep, Greg Hancock second there. Crump then on 9 points leads the meeting. Greg Hancock is in 10th place on 4 points, still gives himself a chance. Pedersen gets his 1st points of the night, but that man looks well and truly back on top form.
Yeah, 3 starts that are out of the top draw, and once he's hit the front, the conditions certainly help the riders, but he's not putting a foot wrong. The bike is strong to the first corner. You look how it powers to the first turn. Gate 2 hasn't been working well, and he's there. Hancock's more competitive this time, there's no question about that. The change of equipment worked to his advantage. He got right up the inside of him here. For a moment it looked like he might be able to get there. I thought he might be able to push a bit harder, but Crump resists that charge from the World Championship leader. Terrific action early on here from Hancock, and Crump out in front. But Crump, 9 points to his name. Will Perfect, once again, he's going to be a tough man to beat tonight.
Celebrated his 36th birthday since we were last in action in the SGP in Italy a fortnight ago. Hancock on 4 points. Now, if he can get a couple of wins or even a couple of second places, he's got a chance. Could do with 5 points from his last 2 rides to get into the semi-finals.
Yeah, still under pressure.
Knows 9 out of 9. He's already there in the
Yeah, he's looking great, and he can build on that now. When you're in that position, it's terrific. You know, you can really then focus on getting a real hatful of points out of your first 5 rides and then capitalise later on in the night with good gate picks. So Crump's in a strong position. Golub's out here, and he's not. He's coming off the inside gate. He's only got 1 point to his name so far, and he has struggled.
Absolutely, and he's up against Jonsson and Saifutinov, who are on form. Saifutinov not 100% fit though. Golub off the inside. Laguta yet to score off gate 2. Gate 3 is Andreas Jonsson. Outside is Saifutinov. Greg Hancock is now on 99 Grand Prix points, and Thomas Golub is only on 74. And Golub hasn't made this, been out-trapped by Laguta. Unbelievable here, and now Saifutinov in yellow sweeps around with Jonsson. It's almost like team riding before between those two, and now Jonsson hits the lead. Jonsson in white, Saifutinov in yellow. Golub is back in 3rd place right now. It's getting all very tight, Carl.
Very tight going into the first turn. Second time of asking. Jonsson is flying out in front. Saifutinov pushing so hard. Golub looks more like it this time. Disappointing away from the tapes, but certainly he is in touch. But look at the action in front. Saifutinov, where he nearly ran in the side of Andreas Jonsson, and that gives Golub a little bit of a sniff of second place.
Well, this would put Golub on 2 points with 2 rides to go, so he can only score a maximum of 8 points, Thomas Golub. And, well, I repeat the question I asked earlier. Is it the beginning of the end of his title defence, Thomas Golub, or is it too soon to write him off? Jonsson looking superb. The home fans bring him home. Saifutinov was chasing the back wheel there more than once, and managed to get second place. And Thomas Golub, out-trapped by Artem Laguta, finishes 3rd. And the G&B Arena here in Melilla explodes with a fantastic ride from the home favourite.
Well, yeah, exactly. The home favourite delivers there in big style. He's having a great night. He's had a big pressure. He's had to entertain plenty of sponsors. He's been doing lots of media work this week. He said he was really nervous in his interview earlier on, but I tell you what, he's not showing any nerves out on the track. Coming under huge pressure from Saifutinov in 2nd place. That was a classy ride from Andreas Jonsson.
He's on 8 points now, as we can see here from the results caption. As Jonsson moves on to 8, Saifutinov is on 7 points now. It's taking shape nicely, and it's getting all very tight with a clutch of riders on 4 points. But Jonsson, 8 points here. When you bear in mind he got 17 in Terranzano a fortnight ago, Jonsson could be in for a stunning second half of the season.
Looking good tonight. Artem Laguta makes a great start initially and then gets it all wrong and gets relegated to the back very quickly indeed. Jonsson then fires himself to the front. Then it's a real battle between he and Saifutinov. Look at Saifutinov roaring up the inside, just about putting the brakes on in time before he runs in the side of him. Really does charge very hard indeed there, but Andreas Jonsson showing his experience here. So often he's a frustrating rider, he puts in a big performance and then fails next time out. That's not the case this time. Winner last time in Terranzano. 8 points to his name so far tonight. He's looking good.
And it's not worked in the first half of the season. Carl Blumfeld has teamed up with AJ, and Blumfeld, by the way, is a man who has helped Sam Ermolenko to the world title, has helped Billy Hamill, has worked with the top riders, Lee Adams, he's worked with the top riders in the world.
Well, he worked for Tony Ricardson for a long time.
Absolutely.
For a long time, so he has
mentioned that.
Well, yeah. You sure? But he has a fantastic CV. It's taken some time for them to settle because Blumfeld's been out of the sport for some time.
Yes.
But he's come back in and, hey, may just be beginning to see the fruits of his labour.
Absolutely. Well, it's got to bear in mind, of course, that Thomas Golub and his situation is the fact that he missed the Swedish League meeting on Tuesday. We should mention that as far as Golub is concerned. So he's obviously still struggling. And we build up to heat number 12. After this race, every rider will have completed 3 rides. Jonasson goes off the inside the wild card. Chris Holder goes off gate 2, an impressive win last time out. Hampel off 3, Harris off 4, and there's a whole host of riders chasing the top 8. And you have to say, this could be a vital race in the battle for the semi-finals.
Absolutely. At this stage of the meeting, it often is the case. And Hampel's look good. He's on 4 points. Holder's on 4 points. Tough race indeed. Oh! Harris Harris was moving big time on the outside. No surprise to see the red lights come on.
Yeah, the red lights came on straight away. And, well, has to be said that Craig Ackroyd was very quick there. As we see the start again. Oh!
He's lucky. He's very lucky. I don't know if he actually touched the tapes, but he must have got awfully close. But the red lights came on almost immediately. We're looking again. Can't quite see the tape in front of Harris, but Harris is moving big time. And I tell you what, I think he's got away with it. Will we see the tapes just move there with the front tire just touching them? No, I think he's just about got away with that. But Harris needs to be patient here because he was really looking good last time out. He's got 4 points to his name and he's well and truly in this meeting. Doesn't want to throw a race away.
Well, we'll have to go for the restart, and Craig Ackroyd very quickly with the red lights on there. It's one of those where the referee was absolutely convinced that there was movement at the start there, and therefore it's an unsatisfactory start. All 4 riders back for the restart. It's taking shape nicely now, this Grand Prix, and the best is yet to come, Kelvin.
Yes, you're right, Nigel, in the fact that the conditions are improving steadily and riders are adapting to conditions. Well, majority of riders are beginning to feel more confident out there. As I say, generally slick conditions for Grand Prix circuits, but tonight it's the absolute opposite. And possibly a little bit too much going into the corners, which is making it difficult. Rooney Holter, I tell you what, he is a tough customer. His wrists are always bandaged, he's always in the wars. And it's quite remarkable how on earth he continues on it sometimes. He shows terrific heart. But this year, after a stunning season last year, 4th in the world last year, of course, won a Grand Prix here. And this year it hasn't been the same. It's been very difficult for him.
Got to ask the question with Rooney Holter, who's 14th before tonight. Why? Why continue? Why not sit out the rest of the season? I guess he's got a duty to his sponsors, to his fans, but at the end of the day, he's got both wrists bandaged up, and he's quite clearly struggling.
I saw a YouTube footage earlier this year from a crash he had in Rzeszów in Poland early on in the season, just before Leszno. Oh, it was an awful accident. Once again, he really did crash out big time, and he's struggled ever since, there's no doubt about that.
Well, second time of asking, heat number 12 then. No doubt the word will have got down to Chris Harris to behave himself on heat number 4.
Well, he needs to, Nige, because he's had the last ride was possibly his best ride this year in the Grand Prix, and he looked really strong and fast. The change of equipment certainly worked for him. He's had plenty of changes in his staff this year. There's been a change with the mechanics. And he's coming from the outside, and all he needs to be there is level and try and get a nice run around that first corner. He likes the grip, and he needs to utilise it now.
Same lineup then, Jonassen off the inside, Holder off 2, Hampel off 3, and Harris going off the outside. Live Grand Prix Speedway, round number 7 of 11 in the World Championship from the G&B Arena in Malilla here in Sweden. Heat number 12 it is. After this race, every rider will have completed 3 rides in the battle for the semi-finals, and away first time this time. Chris Holder hits that first turn. It's a good start. Jonassen is there, coming through in white. Watch out for Hampel. Oh, riders 4 abreast down the back straight.
Jonassen gets his names in front going into turn 3. Holder's been shoved right out to the safety fence after making a great start. Hampel's charging hard in second place, right round the outside. Jonassen and Hampel down the back straight for the second time. This is more like it. This is proper speedway.
Sensational speedway with all 4 riders wheel to wheel down the back straight. Jonassen has the lead. Hampel now is going to chase the back wheel. He's going to try and get the drive. He looks quicker there now. Hampel's looking very quick as he goes out wide. Will he try the inside line this time? Yes, he does. Jonassen has to try and read the move. Into the last lap they go. Hampel's trying everything. He's going wider and wider. Harris is third. Jonassen has got the lead, and he's looking very impressive here. Down into turns 3 and 4. One big swoop from Hampel. Down to the checkered flag.
Oh, the home man picks up the win. No question about that. It got very tight. Brilliant ride from Hampel in second place. Best race of the night. The fans are loving that. The Swedes, another Swedish winner. They're enjoying themselves here this evening. I tell you what, that was a great ride. Holder got beaten up big time on the first lap. He went from first to last. Hampel on the run to the line doesn't get there. Jonassen on the inside does by about half a bike. But that's the best race of the night. And all of a sudden conditions are improving and the riders are beginning to enjoy themselves.
Terrific ride, great speedway as well. All 4 riders down that back straight early on.
I couldn't
wheel
believe
to wheel.
Exactly, there was no room and they just kept the throttle wide open, and Jonasson, brave as a lion, roared into turn 3 and got his nose in front and held on. Great effort in second place from Jarek Hampel.
Yeah, good speedway. Great speedway there in heat number 12. Here's the result. Jonasson the winner with Hampel second. Harris was third. Chris Holder at the back. And now the overall standings after 3 rides apiece. Crump is the leader on 9, but look at the battle for the top 8. It's close. Well, Thomas Jonasson finally with a smile on his face after this race, which was amazing.
Wow, this is incredible stuff. Initially, Chris Holder makes a great start from gate 2. He allows the bike to go. Look at this. 4 abreast down the back straight. Jonasson there in the middle of it, winds it on and roars into the lead. This is just incredible. They just, Holder's the one that is the loser here. He just gets shoved awfully wide and he's very vulnerable there and finds himself out the back and cannot land a blow. Hampel rides a stormer in second place, putting huge pressure on the wild card, Thomas H. Jonasson, who had such a frustrating start to tonight's meeting. But Jonasson picks up her 3 points and a useful win, moving on to 4, and a great ride from Hampel in second place.
Yeah, and it does mean that Jonasson still has a chance to sneak into the semi-finals as Jarek Hampel talks to his pit crew. And he really is shaping up nicely here in Melilla. Well, Jason Crump has been on great form tonight, and he is with Steve Brandon now.
Jason Crump, we spoke before the meeting about remembering to make starts. You've remembered.
So far I've remembered. I've still got a few heats to go, so I still need to make a few more.
I mean, amazingly, you know, you get in front, you look fantastic out there.
It feels pretty good when I hit the front, you know, and Speedway's always been known to be easier if you're in front at the first turn.
You got to sort of look now and sit and watch a couple of races. The track seems to be changing quite a lot now.
Yeah, it was a bit similar at practice yesterday, so you know, hopefully what we did yesterday worked. We're just starting to make a couple of changes now.
2 more of those starts and 2 more, it'd be a good night for you.
4 more of them, mate, I'll be a happy man.
Thanks, Jason.
4 more of those and he'd get 24 points. But for Chris Holder, Kelvin, a little bit of frustration creeping in. Shane Parker again in his pit corner. Shane, who is still a fine Premier League rider in his own right for Sheffield Tigers in the UK. But well, it's back to the drawing board for Chris Holder.
Yeah, he's had an up and down night so far. He looked very impressive last time. He made a good start there, but just found himself caught when they went 4 abreast down the back straight. He was on the outside of that, and he was never going to be a winner there. He just got shoved wide going into turn 3 and found himself relegated to the back. And then it was such a fast-paced race. No riders making any big mistakes. He just couldn't land a blow, and so clearly he's feeling frustrated, but just needs to focus on the next couple of rides. He can still get there from 4 points.
Yep, Shane Parker in his pit corner once again, still riding, as we say, for Sheffield and retiring back home to Australia this coming winter. But for Thomas Golub, it's a question of where it's going wrong, but he can still sneak in to the semi-finals with 2 wins.
Yeah, but he doesn't look at his body language, Nigel. It doesn't look like the passionate man that was full of passion rather in Gorshov for the Speedway World Cup, and the rider that we've seen earlier this year and last year, of course, when he was literally walking on water at times. And he just not performing at the moment.
Well, we are in Torren in a fortnight's time, and I'm sure Thomas will be looking forward to that one. Steve Brandon is down in the pits with one of the men of the moment, Andreas Jonsson. We will hear from Andreas very shortly. He's just off talking to a couple of sponsors, I think, at the moment, or talking to his pit crew.
He's a busy man.
But apparently he has been busy all week doing press interviews and entertaining sponsors, and he's having a great night tonight. Let's try again with AJ and Steve Brandon.
Andreas Jonsson, 8 points, a great start for you tonight.
Ja, kanon. Det har funkat jättebra. Starten har inte varit så bra, men ute på banan har det gått fort, så att det känns bra.
Well, this interview is actually being played out
How does it compare to a league match?
Jag tycker att det är
And his
rätt så
native, Swedish
likt
tongue
ligan definitivt. Så att, nej, det är bara att köra. Jag
terrific
tycker det
attendance
är
here in
fint fäste i
Millala.
banan och gå fortsatt.
It's
Det är kul.
purpose-built speedway
A word
bowl.
for all your fans in Swedish.
Ja, det är bara fortsätt att heja på mig. Jag kommer göra allt, jag försöker göra allt och det känns bra, men det kommer nog bli bättre.
Nice words from Andreas Jonsson, I'm sure. Well, it must have been because he got a big cheer.
Exactly. He's having a great night at Speedway, isn't he? And it's never easy when you're riding in front of your home crowd. And there's lots of pressure on with all the sponsors. It's a tough week for him.
Well, let's hear from AJ in English now with Steve.
Andreas Jonsson, 8 points at interval. A really pleasing start to the meeting.
Yeah, so far so good, you know, but you know, I feel really fast on the track, but not so great from the start. So we did a few changes, but I haven't got better, so I'm going to try to change bikes for the next heat.
Looking at the track, everyone seems to be sort of starting to try and get to the same place. It makes following tricky.
Yeah, definitely. You know, it's one line out there and it's really grippy and it's really fast, so everybody's trying to reach it as fast as possible in the first corner. So, you know, and I haven't been there first, so that's why I'm trying to do some changes, but I haven't been better, so now it's time to change bikes.
Probably as always, but here, looking at it, very important to get a good gate draw when you get to the semi-finals.
Oh, definitely. You know, that's why it's very good to have a lot of points in the baggage.
Thank you.
Well, a change of bike for a man who's scored 8 points out of 9, Kelvin.
Yeah, it's a brave call, isn't it, when you've just dropped 1 point and you're not happy. Clearly having very high standards there, but feeling vulnerable going to the first corner. That man has been as well vulnerable tonight. He looked better last time, didn't he, Greg Hancock? Having a close eye on what they're doing with the track. A little bit of water, but plenty of grading, trying to smooth the track out. It's a little bit rough in places, but Hancock is under pressure. He managed to turn it around and get out of jail last time in Terenzano, but needs to do something similar again tonight.
Certainly does. And the gate stats as well here in Millala.
Well, it was all about gates 1 and 3 initially, and that remains the same. The inside gate, no surprise to me, that's always a favourite here, but gate 3 is working well. Gate 2 is beginning to come to the fore, but we saw Holder make a good start from there and get battled out of it. Gate 4 is a bit of a graveyard so far, but hey, you know, it can change.
Well, as we can see, great crowd shots here in Millala. They've come from far and wide, from all the towns and the cities around Sweden to watch this Grand Prix.
Yeah, the meeting isn't quite as electrifying as I thought it might be. I think conditions have found, riders have found conditions very difficult with the amount. I think it's primarily the amount of grip going into the corners, Nigel. Riders have found it difficult getting in there without getting in too much trouble, and that's allowed riders in front to really stretch their legs and pull away. But you just sense now in the second half of the meeting that there is a potential for this to really burst into life.
Well, concerns in the Golub camp. It's unusual to see Thomas not actually getting his hands dirty himself and leaving it to other people.
Yeah, and I think I'm looking at his body language and it's defeatist. He's sort of strolling around. There's no real aggression or frustration in him. It just seems to be a resigned sort of body language, and that doesn't bode well for me. He needs to really dig deep here this evening, because you've said it more than once tonight. You know, his World Championship could be slipping away.
Could well be. Fans waiting for the restart. We're about, what, 5 minutes away from the restart of the Grand Prix. A short break for track grading and the riders to have a little bit of a breather in the build-up to the next round of races.
Supporters to have another beer and another burger and relax back in their seats. And they're looking, there's a few sausages and...
Well, the story of the meeting so far, a beautiful sunny night here in Millala in southern Sweden. The Swedish flags flying and the riders mixing with the fans, and fans of all ages enjoying their racing. Andreas Jonsson, a home hero, Jarek Hampel, Emil Seifudenov, all the big guns in town, ready for the start of round number 7 of the World Championship. Andreas Jonsson made a great start, punching the air with delight after winning heat number 1 comfortably ahead of Freddie Lindgren. But for Nicky Pedersen, it was all going wrong, and the reigning champion, Thomas Golub, getting off to a nightmare start. Conditions a little bit tricky early on. The track was a little bit choppy, but Jason Crump attacked it, making great starts, and on his way to 3 wins out of 3. Now, for Greg Hancock, the series leader, he allowed riders to come through. There was a nasty incident with Thomas Jonassen, who went down there under pressure from Emil Seifudenov, and it was Jonassen who was excluded there for being the cause of the stoppage. somewhat fortunate in many people's eyes. Still, Thomas Golub struggled, locked the bike up, and really finding it hard, but Chris Harris with an impressive win. And for Nicky Pedersen, well, still back to the drawing board. But Jason Crump marching on. Brilliant stuff, looking very, very powerful. And Andreas Jonsson, 8 points out of 9 before the interval for the Swede. And Sayfutdinov still suffering the ill effects of that injury. Thomas Jonassen, though, with a fantastic win in his third ride, taking him on to 4 points from 3 rides, and gives him a chance of reaching the semi-finals with another couple of good rides here in Millila. So it has been a little bit choppy early on, but the track has definitely calmed down, and it is getting better and better here in Millila. Let's remind you of what's coming up in the next 4 heats.
Freddie Lindgren.
3 second places could do with a win.
Emil Sayfutdinov.
Exciting as ever, Sayfutdinov.
Janusz Kołodziej.
Just the 1 point. Crashed in practice yesterday, remember?
Chris Harris.
An improvement so far.
Antonio Lindbäck.
Very disappointing for a man who was well backed here.
Tomas Golub.
Running out of time tonight, Golub.
Thomas Jonasson.
Superb win in his last outing.
Nicky Pedersen.
Having a tough night.
Jason Crump.
He's not. He's immaculate. 3 wins.
Jarek Hampel.
A chance for Hampel tonight.
Andreas Jonsson.
Has dropped just 1 point, but he's going to change his bike.
Struggling with his injuries so far tonight, Hulta.
Greg Hancock.
The series leader needs a win.
Chris Holder.
Last place last time out, wasn't he?
Holder's frustrated so far. Kenneth Pierre, though, he's looking good.
Artem Lagut.
No points for Laguta. He's finding life tough in the GP, Kelv.
Yeah, just finding he's a little bit out of his depth, if the truth be known. He's going to reflect on his experience, but no doubt that he's just out of his depth so far in the Grand Prix.
Perfect shots of the pits as we see the small racetrack in the background, which is where the youngsters practice here in Millila. It's a terrific facility as we build up to the restart of round 7 of the Grand Prix. So heat number 13, and Freddie Lindgren from Sweden goes off the outside gate here with Janusz Kołodziej in blue. He's struggled so far, just the 1 point to his name so far. This will be the 4th round of races. Every rider after the next 4 heats will have completed 4 rides, and it's getting very, very tight for the semi-finals. So every race absolutely vital.
Yes,
here in Millila.
It is indeed, and Harris on the inside has got an opportunity now. If he can utilise the inside gate, which has had the most wins out of there, he could give himself a good chance of the semi-finals tonight. Emil Sayfutdinov, he's a rider that I fancied for a win here this evening. He's certainly well and truly involved, and it's 7 points to his name so far, and he's riding as strong as ever. But Kołodziej struggled. You've got to say that he's just well and truly off the pace. And Lindgren, 6 points to his name. He's having a solid night so far, but he's looking for a win.
Yeah, he is, and Lindgren desperate to get into the top 8 of the championship. Here's your lineup then for heat number 13. Chris Harris goes off the inside in red with Janusz Kołodziej, gate 2. 1 point so far. Emil Sayfutdinov, 7 points to his name. Freddie Lindgren, 3 second places so far. Points needed here in heat number 13. Kenneth Pierre already knows that he has got 1 foot in the semi-finals. Janusz Kołodziej has struggled. Carl Blumfelt and Andreas Jonsson watching on. This is heat number 13 then. What will happen here as away from the start? Kołodziej makes a good one off 2. What a start that is, but Harris is there and Sayfutdinov nips up the inside superbly. Lindgren's at the back now, would you believe it? The lead is with Sayfutdinov. Chris Harris is second.
Oh, Lindgren! Wow! How on earth did he avoid all the action there? Came from nowhere, got too much grip, went right across in front of Kołodziej and Harris, and unbelievably avoided everything. He's out the back, he's charging hard. Sayfutdinov was brilliant on the first corner to turn back and get himself to the front. Harris, remarkably, is still on board when he avoided the flying Lindgren going through turns 3 and 4 in the opening lap.
Well, the lead is with Sayfutdinov. Chris Harris is second. Third place Lindgren. That would put Lindgren on to 7 points with 1 race to go. Sayfutdinov heading for double figures here. This will be enough for him to get into the semi-finals. A second place for Chris Harris would move on to 7 as well. Into turn 3 and 4 for the final time. Harris is going high and wide, really charging hard, but Sayfutdinov has got the race in the back comfortably. Emil Sayfutdinov of the Coventry Bees in the UK has said that his improved form, a lot of it is down to the fact that he started riding more regularly in Great Britain for the Coventry Bees. Second place there was Chris Harris. That moves Harris on to 7, so he's got a chance. It's getting all very tasty in the battle for the top 8 here tonight. But Sayfutdinov now tops the GP on 10 points after that win. Sayfutdinov the winner, Harris was second, Lindgren was third, and Kolodze trailed in last. They're a miserable night for the pole, it has to be said, but Sayfutdinov rockets to the top, and Harris and Lindgren in the top 8 as of now.
Yes, they are, and they're giving themselves a chance with one race to go. Of course, both of them would like to win their last ride to make sure of it. Lindgren, they're just finding it difficult. Gate 4's been tough all night, and any points from there are welcome, but still with work to do. We see it again. Harris makes a reasonable start, but Kolodze's the one that gets away sharp but runs very wide and then gets out-battled. Brilliant first corner from the young Russian Sayfutdinov. Classic turn back in the first corner and gets in front. But look at that. How on earth he avoided everybody. It's incredible. He went very tight, and there's lots of grip down there. Gets miles too much grip, goes straight across the corner, and he is remarkably lucky that he didn't collect anybody in the process. He then battles on Fredrik Lindgren to come through to third place. But the man there, Emil Sayfutdinov, such an exciting rider to watch wherever he goes. He really is looking good, and I say, he's growing in confidence tonight. He could be a potential winner. And Harris, the Great Britain rider, he's enjoying as good a Grand Prix probably as he's had all year.
Remember, Sayfutdinov still in a bit of pain, and I did make a prediction earlier. I fancied Sayfutdinov for the win here tonight. Lindgren back in business, less than 2 weeks after those horrific injuries, but he's still got a chance of getting into the semi-finals. 7 points so far.
Yeah.
Now, Golub is out here in the next one, Kelv.
He is. He's coming out of gate 3, and it's crunch time for Thomas Golub. If he doesn't really pick up a win here, it's going to be awfully difficult. His night's going to be pretty much over. So, yeah, you've got to say that Golub's got to start winning races now.
Bear in mind, he missed the Swedish League fixture on Tuesday through injury. So he's still obviously carrying the effects of that knock. Nicky Pedersen goes off the inside. Thomas H. Jonassen off 2. Golub off 3. Needs a win. Nothing less will do. Antonio Lindback going off the outside. Golub far from his best. Far from 100% fit. This is heat number 14 of the Scandinavian Grand Prix here in Malilla in Sweden as we prepare for the start of the race. Jonassen has made a good one off 2, and that is a fantastic start as now coming through Golub in white. The lead though in blue is with Thomas H. Jonassen. Superb stuff here in heat number 14. Jonassen has the lead. There's a real battle for second place. Oh, and Golub holds on to second spot at the moment. Third is Nicky Pedersen, and Lindback now coming through as well into third, but Pedersen is holding his nerve, battling for every point here.
Thomas H. Jonassen out in front is looking really strong indeed. Lindback is really winding it on. Got to say, Golub's in second place, but he's not quick. Pedersen's out the back with Lindback charging hard in third. Golub is really having to work hard just to hang on. He's having to ride defensively. It's not looking quick. Jonassen out in front though, the wild card. After a disappointing start tonight, he looks like he could go back-to-back wins here.
Well, this is a great race for second and third. The man in yellow, Antonio Lindback, has just passed the world champion down to the finish line, and that will end Thomas Golub's hopes of a semi-final spot. Speedway can be a crawl sport at times. Golub clearly far from 100%, but what about Thomas H. Jonassen? An exclusion in his first ride, and yet here he is now with one race to go for him, sat on 7 GP points. Brilliant stuff from the wild card, Kelvin.
Fabulous ride from Thomas H. Jonassen. Dreadfully disappointed to have been excluded first time out, but Thomas H. Jonassen, super fast out in front, coming out of the ill-favoured gate 2, picks up a really useful win there to move on to 7 points. So yeah, he's looking good. Golub struggling big time.
Well, this is again, it's a great opportunity for Greg Hancock, currently 12th. It's a great opportunity for Hancock to pounce and extend his lead even
but what's
further.
going on there? I appreciate what you're saying, but what's going on with Golub? He has been so consistent over the recent seasons. When you saw him riding Gorjov just a few weeks ago in the World Cup final, when the poles were nowhere after 9 races, he came out, won 2 races back-to-back. We see it again. Misses the start, Golub. He's nowhere. Has a bit of a contact there a little bit, but Jonasson out of gate 2, pulls a bit of a locker. And now you think, yeah, Golub's into second place. He's really going to wind it on. But the reverse is actually going to happen. Pedersen comes up into third place, but Lindback rides a stormer here. Gets the better of the world champion, just pushes him out of the way and grabs that second place late on in the race. But 3 points for Thomas H. Jonasson. He fully deserves to be here, and it won't be long before he's a fully fledged Grand Prix rider, I suggest. He delights the home fans once again.
Well, Thomas Golub, the reigning World Speedway champion with just 3 points to his name. Won here in 2009. And, well, as I said, it is cruel Speedway at times. One can only presume that Golub is still feeling the effects of the injury that kept him out of the Swedish League on Tuesday night. As we build up to heat number 15, and there'll be all eyes on heat 16 as well, with Greg Hancock off gate 4, because he will sense an opportunity. If Hancock can get in the semi-finals now, he'll have an extra ride to build up that lead on Thomas Golub. Jarek Hampel will be looking to close the gap in the World Championship. And what about Ricky Pedersen? Just 1 point.
Well, a disastrous night, and Terenzano was poor for him as well, but it's all of a sudden now, it's somebody else's opportunity to pick up the mantle, to put pressure on Greg Hancock. Two of those suspects are in this race, Jason Crump and Jarek Hampel.
Halter off the inside, Jonsson off 2, Hampel off 3, Crump going off the outside, 9 points out of 9 for Jason Crump so far tonight. He moves on to 65 Grand Prix points now, with still more to come surely. This is heat number 15 here in Manila. It's all very lively, it's all very feisty, and the pressure is on, but Jonsson, what a start from the man in blue off gate number 2, and Crump switches up the inside. Jason Crump now down the back straight. Whoa, get out of the way! I'm coming through. Crump has gone from last to first. Jonsson's coming back for more. Spectacular speedway here at the G&B Arena in Manila. And now coming hard around the outside is Jarek Hampel in white as well. Great stuff.
Fabulous speedway, a fabulous first corner from Jason Crump. Missed the start on the outside, but absolutely Will perfect through the first corner. Got himself to the front. Jonsson on that second bike doesn't look out of it. Hampel charging hard in third, up the inside into second place. Swedish alike. Now Jonsson now having to go back at him. Does he replay the compliment? Yes, he does. Great speedway going on for second and third, and Crump is only just in front.
What a race this is. Crump the lead, Jonsson second. Hampel desperate for points here. Jarek Hampel in white is on 6 points before this race. He's going to have to settle for a point. Jason Crump, maximum man so far. 12 points out of 12, and Jason Crump is back to the form that has made him world champion 3 times in the past.
Fabulous performance once again. Not so convincing out in front this time. Certainly the two fellas behind him, Jonsson and Hampel, really pushed him hard all the way, but 12 points out of 12, you can't argue with that. And when you consider he was nowhere off the start, he rode an absolutely dreamlike first corner to come to the front. Fantastic speedway.
Yeah, it was. It was a great race, wasn't it? And Crump, the winner there, rockets up to 12 points. He's in the semis. Jonsson's in the semis. Saifudinov's in the semis. There's places running out for the boys. They have to pick up points, and it's over to Greg Hancock in heat number 16 now to try and pounce and do the business in the next race to try and give himself a chance.
Well,
but Crump is already there.
He is, and he's looking really strong. Can he go through the card tonight? He said 4 more starts like that and he'd be a happy man, but there's only 3 to go now, Jason. Certainly, look at this first corner from him. He just makes that decision. The door opens up beautifully for him there. Jonsson then is taken by surprise down the back straight, where Crump just comes from nowhere. Wheels in line. What a dream move. Squeezes. Oi! Slams the door shut, but Jonsson doesn't take that line down. Then there's a great scrap for second and third, with Hampel initially getting into second place and then Jonsson surging back into second place. But Crump holds on out in front to a vital win, and he's on top form. There's been some big changes in the background with him as well, with the engine tuning. Certainly he looking like he's getting back to his best.
Well, Jason Crump, it's great to see him on top form. He has questioned in the past whether he can still do it and challenge for the world title, but there's no doubt about it that there is an opportunity here tonight in Manila for the World Championship to go wide open again. Or will this man, Greg Hancock, win heat 16 just to calm it down a little bit?
Well, it's in his hands, but it's not. The stats will suggest it's going to be tough from there. Of course, Crump won from gate 4 there, but it was nothing about getting away from the tapes. It was all about the move in the first corner. could very well be something like that Greg Hancock's got to come up with now. Pierre's going great tonight. Holder's a frustrated man, desperate for points. Doesn't get any easier for the championship leader.
Well, heat number 16, and it's Artem Laguta off the inside from Russia, yet to score a point. Kenneth Pierre off gate 2, Chris Holder off gate 3, and Greg Hancock, the series leader, going off the outside. A big race coming up, this heat number 16. Hancock desperate for the points. Richard Child watching on. It's a big moment in the World Championship for this man.
Exactly that. In the context of the World Championship, this could be quite huge. If Greg Hancock fails to score here, then all of a sudden the World Championship could get blown wide open.
Heat number 16 it is then. After this race, every rider will have completed 4 rides, and away from the start they go. Pierre's made a beauty off gate number 2. Now can Hancock swoop around the outside? Holder's coming up the inside as well. Oh, and how did he avoid Hancock's back wheel there? Pierre has the lead. Superb stuff from him.
Here comes Holder. Oh. Holder up the inside, surges into second place, shoves Greg Hancock out the way. Hancock now squares it off. Can he get up the inside of Chris Holder, who is a very frustrated man and charging hard? Holder's out of shape, running wide. Very nearly ran in the back of Pierre, just about saves it. Pierre was brilliant out of gate 2. He's found himself to the front and showing great speed out in front.
Gotta say, this for Greg Hancock could well spell disappointment for a place for the semi-finals. He's still got another ride to come. This would take him on to 5 points tonight, Greg Hancock. His nearest challenger, Thomas Gulliver's only got 3, so it would only extend his lead by 2 points in the World Championship. But it'd still be a good lead for him. But Kenneth Pierre, super ride from Pierre, and Chris Holder with a hard-fought second spot. Kenneth Pierre now in double figures.
Yeah.
He's on his way through to the semi-finals.
Really sharp away from the tapes, and we've seen earlier on this evening how fast he is once he hits the front. The other riders had no answer to him. He was absolutely in a class of his own out there. Holder was really charging hard in second place. You're right, that was a really hard-fought second place, and the World Championship leader was tailed off back in 3rd place.
Yeah, well, Kenneth Pierre the winner. Chris Holder was 2nd after a hard-fought battle with Greg Hancock 3rd. And this is what it means now. Look at the battle for the top 8. Holder and Hancock just outside, but Crump leads the Grand Prix. Well, what will Greg Hancock be thinking here now, I wonder, as he has 5 points to his name. Needs a win in his last race. End of story.
Yeah, well, he's out in heat 17 coming out of gate 3, and he's going to have to produce something very special indeed. I tell you what, Kenneth Pierre's having a special night at Speedway. He has won his last 3 races and has been dynamite away from the tapes, and then he has shown terrific speed once he's got there. He really has a trouble-free ride. Just momentarily you think Hancock might be able to land a blow, but he can't. Holder then comes charging up the inside and surges into second place, making Hancock's life all the more difficult. But Kenneth Pierre, he's got 11 points to his name. He is really looking good tonight, and it could be a very dangerous man later on.
Well, Greg Hancock then with 5 points to his name now, and needs a win, no question about that.
Well, he's out next time up now in heat 17. He's got Lindgren, Golub and Hampel for company, so no easy task, but he has the qualities. He's going to have to find a start. He's got to get his nose in front getting into that first corner if he's going to give himself any chance at all of making the semi-finals.
Well, Bo Vibrand is the Swedish team manager, and I'm sure we'll try and have a chat with him pretty shortly. But the action is fast and furious, and we're right down to the business end of the meeting now, with 4 races to go before the qualifiers for the semi-finals are known. And it's tough. It's a tough meeting. If you were involved in this, Kelvin, you'd know that you're involved in a tough old battle. Let's hear from Bo Vibrand now. Here's Steve.
Bo Vibrand, a great performance from Andreas so far tonight.
Ja, han bibehåller ju formen ifrån framförallt Terranzano, men ifrån hela säsongen ifrån ligaspeedwayen.
But all of the Swedish riders are really contributing to a great meeting.
Ja, imponerad av Fredrik som gör det här så jäkla bra med tanke på att han har mer eller mindre halvskadad. Thomas gör det
here in Melilla
hur bra som helst.
Well, he's got to be a happy man, Nigel, because the Swedes are producing some really strong performances tonight. Jonsson, of course, a home favourite, has been terrific. Jonasson, Thomas H. Jonasson has been great in the last couple of rides. He's won back-to-back races, and Lindgren, probably not 100% fit. He's also in there battling hard, so yeah, he must be satisfied.
Well, Kenneth Pierre must be satisfied as well. He's with Steve Brandon.
Kenneth Pierre, 4 rides, 11 points. You make it look easy.
I don't know. I'm making good starts, and my bike is so quick today, and hopefully I can keep this up and hopefully get 3 more races.
Interestingly, watching you tonight, you've had a couple of rides on the outside going fast, that race inside going fast.
Trying a few different things. Like I say, I'm happy with the bikes. I can go whatever I want, inside, outside, so that's really nice.
And a big thing for you, the only rider in the meeting on a JRM engine. I mean, they're still quick.
They are, for sure.
All right, thanks, Kenneth.
All right, thanks.
Still quick, and there's been a lot of talk in the sport recently, hasn't there, about technical setups, the silencer issues. Edward Kennett in the UK, Christoph Kasperzak here in Sweden has been the subject of investigations regarding silencers. There was different scrutineering here today as well with the silencers.
Well, it's a hot topic, isn't it, right now with the silencers, of course, with the silencers being found to be illegal back in the UK, and obviously Kasperzak having problems here as well. But I sense that all the riders' silencers were checked here before racing, and there were no problems. So we've got to say that that's it. But it has created problems, certainly for engine tuners. They've been put under a massive amount of pressure to find the performance back.
This is what's coming up.
Jarek Hamper.
7 points, needs a win.
Greg Hancock.
Well, he's desperate for a win.
Tomas Golub.
Well, still quite clearly feeling the effects of his injury.
Freddie Lindgren.
2 more points for the semi-finals.
Damaged wrists and struggling.
Chris Harris.
Looking good tonight.
Nicky Pedersen.
Well, the question has to be asked, what's going wrong with Nicky?
Artem Lagota.
Finding it very difficult.
Kenneth Pierre.
He'd love to go into the semis with 14 points under his belt.
Turned his night around with brilliant performances.
He has.
Janusz Kodzi.
Struggling tonight, just the 1 point for a very fast rider.
Andreas Jonsson.
Jonsson is enjoying a terrific night.
Chris Holder.
6 points, needs a win.
Antonio Lindbäck.
Looked better last time.
Emil Seyfudinov.
Double figure score, superb effort.
Jason Kropp.
He's the man so far.
Well, Thomas Golub is there and he's not going to get to the semi-finals, but significantly, it's Golub versus Hancock here.
Well, exactly, and he won't want to be beaten by Hancock. He won't want to give any points away at all possible, so a win would be very useful. Stats again, it's evening up a little bit between the inside gates. Certainly gate 2 has just got a little bit better, and Crump, of course, has doubled the stat on the outside by that fabulous first corner when he picked up the win last time out. But just getting a little bit even. Plenty of track grading going on once again. Riders having to be patient, just waiting for their last ride.
Well, the World Championship standings, you see that Greg Hancock has hit the 100-point mark and he leads Golub by 24 points. But Jarek Hampel is threatening there, Kelvin.
Yes.
On 72, but he's still not totally consistent, Jarek. He's broke the track record tonight, but still now, going into the last round of races, Jarek Hampel.
7.
He's only on 7 points.
Yeah, he's won his first ride and then has had 2 thirds and a second, hasn't quite managed to back it up. Don't understand quite what's going on with Golub. I know that you've been suggesting he's feeling the effects of his injury, but I don't know. I sense that he's not that bad. Just doesn't seem to have had his mind on the job just recently, and the last 3 Grand Prix have been very disappointing for him. This is a huge moment, of course, for Greg Hancock in the context of the World Championship. If he could just manage to win this, he could get out of jail like he did last time out in Terenzano, where he ended up struggling, and then he came up with a 2nd place and really stretched that lead once again.
Yep, heat number 17 is coming up, and you're quite right, Kelvin. I agree totally. It's a massive race.
Yeah.
In the context of the World Championship, because even if these 2 guys, Hancock and Golub, don't make the semi-finals, which we know Golub won't, but Hancock against Golub, every time they meet, it could be vital. And Hampel knows that he is still coming up on the rails, and has a chance. Now, a win for Hancock here would be massive.
Yes, it would be, and there's a chance, potentially, obviously, he'll have to be patient until Heat 20 is completed, but with the win and 8 points, he has an outside chance of making the top 8 tonight. He's capable, you know. I just sense that he's been a little bit cautious tonight. It was almost like he's riding within himself. And with that 22-point lead, it's sort of weighed heavy on himself. He hasn't been able to ride relaxed and really have a go. People enjoying themselves in the crowd.
Interesting.
Is that Miss Piggy or Mr. Piggy or what? Hey?
Fascinating.
But certainly, either way, having fun.
Heat number 17, 2 minutes to go.
Heat number 17 it is, Thomas Golub. This will be his last ride of the night. He will not make the semi-finals because Jari Campbell, Freddie Lindgren, Chris Harrison, Thomas Jonasson are already on 7 points, and the most Golub can get is 6. And how he'd dearly love to round the night off with a win here in heat number 17. So an absolutely vital race coming up. And a change of bike for Golub here.
Well, that's not unusual with Golub, is it? He often does that, so I don't panic about that. But it does give you an indication of where his mind is at. He's coming out for his last ride and still not happy with his gear, and they're just not really getting to grips with it. He's done another practice start on that one. There are mechanics still on the track. Is he getting off that bike to get on there? He's obviously... Well, they're actually adjusting the ignition timing out on the track, and he's going to try and get off that bike. I suggested this time he may jump back on that other bike. Will he? No.
Just less than a minute. But
yeah, he's made his mind up. He's done another practice start on this one, and that's the bike. That's the bike he's chosen to ride. But he never fails to surprise you, Thomas Golub, does he?
Here's your lineup for a massive heat number 17 here in Malilla. Freddie Lindgren goes off the inside, needing a couple of points. Thomas Golub won't reach the semi-finals, but can he beat Greg Hancock, who's alongside him in gate number 3? And Jari Campbell, who is still in with a chance of the World Championship, he goes off the outside in yellow. So an absolutely vital race here. Golub won't make the final, but he could still beat Hancock here, end Hancock's night and close that gap. A big heat number 17, and Hancock's made a great start off gate number 3. Lindgren up the inside now. Now Freddie Lindgren, but Greg Hancock has the lead. Freddie Lindgren is second. Golub charges up the inside. Oh, it's getting all very close. And now Hampel in yellow coming around the outside of Freddie Lindgren. This is good speedway again, but what about this from Greg Hancock? And Golub now has passed Lindgren in third. Lindgren's coming back for more. Every point absolutely vital.
Every point very vital, and what a vital start that was for Greg Hancock, showing tremendous commitment and composure. Made a fabulous start to get out of gate 2, and he's clear out in front, and he could well finish on 8 points and secure a semi-final slot. Hampel took advantage of the scrapping between Lindgren and Golub out the back. Golub's having a nightmare. He's tailed off out the back. He's not going to score a point, but Greg Hancock fighting for his life, fighting for a world title.
Golub's lost interest, has pulled up at the back. Greg Hancock is going to take the checkered flag. He'll move on to 8 points, a massive result for him. Jari Campbell moves on to 9, and Freddie Lindgren scores 8 points. But significantly, Lindgren hasn't won a race. Greg Hancock on 8 has now won a race. That could be vital on the countback system in the battle for the semi-finals. Either way, Hancock has just scored 3 more points than his nearest rival, Thomas Golub, there in heat number 17, and that could be an absolutely vital 3 points for the championship leader.
Got to give him a lot of credit there, Nige. He showed terrific class then.
Pressure was on, wasn't it? Massive. Second, Lindgren was third, and Thomas Golub didn't finish the race. He pulled up there in heat number 17. Here's how it stands now. Hancock in 6th place on 8 points. He's got an advantage over Lindgren because of the fact that Hancock has won a race, but there are several now. You've got Jonasson and Harris on 7 just behind them, Holder on 6. but Hancock could well sneak in because of that race win, and Thomas Golub can prepare to go home.
And Lindback could also come into the equation if he managed to win his last race. But look at this from the championship leader. He roared out of gate 3 and he got out of that first corner and got himself in front. And once he settled down in front, he showed really good speed. Got up there charging hard up the inside, and he really does then get in a scrap with Fredrik Lindgren, and finally actually just kind of throws the towel in and just fails to finish. But Greg Hancock showing plenty of character there, picking up a very useful win that just may keep his hopes alive this evening. 8 points with a race win at the end there. That's absolutely crucial.
Well, very much so. He couldn't have timed it any better. Brilliant stuff from Greg Hancock. And now he's just got to sit and wait and hope that he makes it into the top 8.
Yeah, well,
3 races to go.
Harris, Holder and Lindback are the danger men. Of course, Harris and Holder can actually leapfrog him. Lindback could equal him with a win. We would then have to go back to who beat each other when they met. That might get very tight indeed, but I tell you what, it's going to be very tense and nervous. 3 races for Greg Hancock to wait to see if he has secured a semi-final slot.
We're up to heat number 18 now, and Artem Laguta goes off the inside, has yet to score a point. Nicky Pedersen goes off gate 2. Chris Harris is off gate 3, needs a couple of points here, and Rune Holte going off the outside. Harris off gate 3, the sole Great Britain rider in the Grand Prix series. He needs to get at least a second spot here, Kel.
He's got a good chance, Nigel, but the 3 riders around him are not in good form. Harris is the clear favourite here on tonight's performances.
Heat number 18 it is, a big race needed for the man in white, and he's missed the start. Pedersen's made a good one off gate number 2. Now Harris is going for the outside, he's chasing the dirt once again. Now he's coming around to try and pass Laguta. It's a good ride from Chris Harris. Now he's really winding it on, and Chris Harris of Great Britain has just passed Nicky Pedersen and has the lead with a sensational ride.
Fabulous move by Harris round the outside. Nicky Pedersen looked like he was in charge there, but Harris had other ideas. Swooped round the outside in the grip where he loves it, and he's firing way out in front. Pedersen hanging on in second place with Rune Holte, absolutely roaring around the outside, but Harris enjoying a good Grand Prix, enjoying the conditions.
This will put him into the semi-finals with a double-figure score. Chris Harris, much needed before tonight. He was outside of the top 8 in 13th place with 33 points, but this will do Chris Harris's Grand Prix season the power of good. He's heading for double figures. Chris Harris is the winner. The man from the Bellevue Aces in the UK has passed Pedersen. Laguta 3rd, Rune Holte trailing at the back.
Fabulous
and Chris
ride.
Harris, by the way, his Bellevue co-promoter Chris Morton is here in Sweden tonight, along with his wife Jackie, watching the action here in Sweden. Chris and Jackie Morton are here. They'll be delighted with that as well. And of course, we will see Chris Harris on Monday night in the Elite League at Birmingham against Bellevue, live on Sky Sports HD on Monday night. Harris the winner. We'll see him again tonight in the semis. Nicky Pedersen was 2nd. Laguta was 3rd, his first and only point of the night. And this is what it means. Harris moves on to 10, and now it's a nervous, anxious wait for the 2 boys on 8, Greg Hancock and Freddie Lindgren.
Fabulous ride there from Chris Harris, because Nicky Pedersen made a good start. Actually, Harris made an awful start. You watch, well, we're looking at Nicky Pedersen, who makes a terrific one. He gets there comfortably, but doesn't have the speed to stay out in front. Harris has come from gate 3 where he was rolling slightly and then missed it. But his performance round that corner there, turns 3 and 4, absolutely as sweet as you like. Right out in the grip. Harris loves riding in grippy conditions. Every time there's a bit of dirt around, he comes up with a big performance. And 10 points to his name after 5 rides, comfortably into the semi-finals for the Great Britain man. Pedersen on the left there, he's had a tough night.
He has, and yep, he knows. It's back to the drawing board for Nicky. Major disappointment for him, no doubt about that. And it's a very anxious wait now for Hancock and Lindgren. They're on 8 points.
Yeah.
Jonasson is on 7, Holder on 6, and Lindback on 5. 2 races to go. In this race, heat 19, Thomas Jonasson is off gate 3, and he's on 7 points. If he gets second place here, the semi-finals beckon for him. Then in heat 20, you've got Lindback and Holder, but they're up against Crump and Sayfutdinov.
Wow.
Who have been absolutely sensational tonight. It's boiling up nicely. Heat number 19 is coming up. And can Thomas Jonasson, off gate number 3, get the points to take it
I tell
through?
you what, if he manages to do it, that will be a remarkable performance, considering he got unfairly excluded earlier on tonight, and he only had 1 point from his first 2 rides, and then back-to-back wins has given him a really strong opportunity now to make the semi-final. Of course, the top man so far from the Swedish point of view, AJ on the inside, he's a danger man.
Certainly is. This is heat number 19 then, the penultimate race of the qualifiers here in Manila, away from the start. Oh, that's a good one from
Kolodze.
Kolodze, where's he found that from?
Oh,
it's gone down.
Not for long. Not for long, thrown it away in the first corner. Pierre's packed up down the back straight. Are the red lights on?
The red lights are on.
They are now, because Pierre shut the throttle very quickly and Kolodze's off the track. Actually, no real reason for the race to have been stopped.
Well, we'll see that again, but there was Swedes 1-2. Kolodze has got the bike off the track, but quite clearly Pierre pulled up. We're going to have a restart with the exclusion of Kolodze, but Pierre pulled up. Now, let's try and work out why Kenneth Pierre pulled up there. Well,
I think he's just taken upon himself that Kolodze's gone down, and he was just automatically feels that the red lights were going to come on, Nigel, because Kolodze, there's no contact between the riders. Kolodze gets himself off the track.
I don't understand why that race has been stopped, Kelvin.
No reason for it to be stopped.
He got the bike off the track, and that's full credit to him.
I think Craig Ackroyd just reacting a little bit too quickly there with the red light.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm sure there's a reason why, but I'm not too sure, really.
Well, he must have felt that Kolodze wasn't going to get off the track in time, but he did actually quite comfortably. Pierre made his own decision there before the red light came on to shut the throttle. He was expecting the red light to come on. It did come on, but not when he shuts the throttle off, because the 2 Swedish boys out in front, they're battling hard down the back straight, and they reacted to the red light significantly later. Kolodze, he's had an awful night. He's had an awful night, and that really does sum it up. You know, he had a crash yesterday when the handlebars fell off his motorbike. Spins around in the first corner here, throws it away big time. Could have been worse. He'll be glad to see the back of Manila tonight.
Oh, without a doubt. Now we've got a slight delay as we prepare for the restart of Heat 19, but as I say, I can't quite understand why the red lights came on there. And the Swedish fans here went mad because they saw Jonasson and Jonsson dominating that race.
On their feet, gesturing towards the referee's box, saying, "Why on earth did you stop it?" And I must say, I'm of the same mind. I am confused why the red lights came on so quickly, but they did. And I think that man there, Pierre, he's got a second chance now. You know, he's having a great night at Speedway, as is Jonsson on the inside. But you wouldn't rule out Pierre for a win tonight. If he gets his nose in front, he showed really good pace.
Well, if it had, I mean, he did pull up there, Pierre, but even if he went on to complete the race had it not been stopped, he'd still have gone through to the semi-finals on 12 points, which is fine.
Absolutely, but you know what it's like, Nigel. At this stage, you're looking for every point you possibly can get, and the pick for the gate is going to be hugely important for the semi-final.
And quite clearly, Craig Ackroyd felt that Kenneth Pierre had been impeded by Kolodze losing control, and therefore Craig Ackroyd has put the red lights on.
Well, I see where you're coming from.
I'm only trying to explain why the red lights have come on. Maybe that is the reason why.
Personally, I think he just reacted a little bit too quickly. He probably thought it was worse than it was. And he saw it was quite a spectacular dismount from Kolodze. But the bottom line was that he was able to get himself away. But we've got a delay now. And Pierre has
2 minutes is on now. 2 minutes is back on. Always credit riders that do get their bike off the track quickly when they've crashed to allow the race to continue.
Yeah, good. If it's at all possible, they are told in the riders' briefing, can you please get the bike off? Kolodze did exactly that. He did his job. He got himself out of the way.
Well, Kenneth Pierre, I know, speaking to Paul Burbidge from the Speedway Star and the Grand Prix website a little bit earlier in the press room, he backed Kenneth Pierre for the victory tonight.
Right.
Paul Burbidge, so...
well, his money's looking good at the moment. Long way to go, of course. 2 big races for Pierre coming up after the completion of Heat 20, of course. He will be in the semi-finals, even if he doesn't finish this race, which would be very unlikely indeed. But as I say, it is so important at this stage now to keep kicking on. when you're in good form, you really have got to cash in and grab as many points as you can, because you just don't know what's going to happen around the corner. It might be very difficult next time.
So 3 riders only then. Janis Kalodze excluded from the restart, finishes the meeting on just 1 point tonight. Heat 19, we'll try again. Jonsson off the inside, no rider off gate 2. Thomas H. Jonassen, a man who can pass Hancock and Lindgren to get into the semi-finals off gate 3. And Kenneth Pierre going off the outside in the yellow helmet colour. Pierre very, very quick tonight. Kalodze bitterly disappointed. Did have a crash in practice yesterday here at the G&B Arena in Melilla. And what a meeting it's turned out to be, with plenty of grip on the track, and it's provided some spectacular action after an unpredictable start. Heat number 19, and away from the start, it's Andreas Jonsson who makes a good one. Now,
no red light.
Oh, Jonassen locks up, and Pierre has been impeded again, but the race continues.
It does, and I thought the red light should have come on there, because it looked like Jonsson was rolling on the inside, got an absolute flyer, and he's flying away out in front. Jonsson having a fantastic night, looking really good. Thomas H. Jonassen all out of shape in the first corner and nearly wiped out Kenneth Pierre. Pierre is fast. He knows his motorcycle's fast, and he's going to come charging at Thomas H. Jonassen.
So the lead is with Andreas Jonsson then. Second place here in the white helmet colour is Thomas H. Jonassen. This would put him on to 9. That'll be enough for the semi-finals. But Pierre is coming up the inside, and Thomas H. Jonassen has been passed by Kenneth Pierre, and now coming up the inside again. Jonassen inside. Compliment, and Pierre's coming back for more down the back straight as well. You can't take your eyes off the
he's down! He's gone down, what a race! Jonassen's gone down. Jonsson wins the race. Well, Pierre's got through to second place, and Thomas H. Jonassen, if he actually pushes his bike round, he will pick up a point. But
and no red lights have come on.
No red lights, so the race has not been stopped this time. So Jonassen's actually now pushing his bike round. He needs to hurry up because there is a time scale to get to the line, but if he gets there, he'll pick up a point.
And he's got 2 race wins to his name, so this point that he's going to get, he's got to cross the line without being touched by anybody. And so Jonassen has still got to cross the line. He's getting a standing ovation. This point will probably take him into the semis. It will put him above Hancock and put him above Lindgren. He'll be on 8 points, but he's won 2 races. Lindgren hasn't won any. Hancock has only won 1. That could be enough for Thomas H. Jonassen, Kelvin.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's...
Oh, no, he's been excluded.
Well,
no, yellow's disqualified. I do apologise. Kenneth Pierre has been disqualified.
Well, when I saw the replay...
So that's 2 points for Jonassen then. So why has the yellow exclusion light only just come on?
I'm confused.
Wow, very, very strange. Right, so let's try and clear that up. The rider in yellow, Kenneth Pierre, has been disqualified.
There's no question.
So the finishing order is a win for Jonsson, second Jonassen. That puts him on 9, so that's beyond doubt now. He's gone above Hancock and Lindgren. So Jonassen, Thomas H. Jonassen will go through. Forgive me for the confusion there, because
well, it
can't
is
quite
confusing.
work out why it took so long for the yellow exclusion light to come on.
That's the problem, yeah. And there was contact between Kenneth Pierre and Thomas H. Jonassen going into turn 3 on the last lap. There's no question that Pierre's back wheel clouts the front wheel of Jonassen, and that's why he goes down. But terrific race that was before they went down, and the racing really has come alive. This man's still got to wait. He's going to have to keep his fingers crossed, because he's going to need a bit of good fortune to make the semi-finals.
Well, so Kenneth Pierre on 11.
Here we go, Nige. Once again.
Great race.
Yeah, Andreas Jonsson got away with a bit of a roller there on the inside, and he is clear, and it doesn't really come under any problems whatsoever. Thomas H. Jonassen makes a really big mistake on the opening lap. Pierre there, after they swapped places 2 or 3 times, roared up the inside there. Thomas H. Jonassen just coming into there is not enough room there, and unfortunately Pierre then takes out the front of the young Swedish rider, and he bites the dust. He gets excluded. Not completely disastrous, of course, for Kenneth Pierre, because he already had 11 points.
Yep, so Hancock on 8 and still waiting to see if he gets into the semi-finals, Kelvin.
Yes.
Because we've got Chris Holder on 6 and Antonio Lindback on 5. They can catch him.
They can catch him, or an actual Holder, if he wins the race, of course, will overhaul him, and that will knock him out.
Absolutely. So it's tense and it's nervous.
If Holder wins the race, then Hancock's gone.
Amazing stuff here. And in Melilla, Chris Holder, who's had an up-and-down night. Brilliant talent on a speedway bike. No question about that. Can tell you as well that if Chris Holder finishes second, he'd be on 8 points, level with Hancock. They've got one race win each, but Holder beat Hancock in heat number 16.
So we go to Holder.
So, a vital heat number 20 then. Jason Crump, the only rider on a maximum so far. Greg Hancock will be in the pits, watching on nervously here as we build up to the start of heat number 20. Craig Ackroyd with his finger on the button, the green light is on, and away from the start they go. And what a start it is from Jason Crump in the red helmet colour, absolutely magnificent. And significantly, Chris Holder is at the back, but he charges.
Oh, there they go on the outside, Saifounov and Lindback bite the dust going into turn 3. It got awfully tight down the back straight there with Chris Holder charged up the inside. I'm not sure if there was any contact between them, but it's really important for you to, when we see the replays, to see if there was any contact. There goes Holder. Saifounov then slams into the side of Lindback.
Is that Saifoudinov's fault?
Well, I didn't know if there was contact between...
No, there isn't.
There isn't really. He has to get out of the way.
Emil has to go there, in my opinion.
He has to...
Wow. And that will allow Chris Holder another chance.
Well, Holder was desperate. He was coming from nowhere out of the first corner, steamed up the inside. Saifounov kind of took avoiding action there. Has to get out of the way, and then actually runs into the side. Not really clear-cut, Nige. Holder was the one that was pushing up there. There's no question that side of Saifounov...
Still no exclusion light. We're still waiting for a decision from the referee. Here.
I could see Saifounov going here, but it will be a tough call for the referee. No question about that.
If Saifounov goes, it's bad news for Greg Hancock. And the referee will be watching the replays once again. Still no exclusion light. Antonio Lindback's hand goes towards the wheel there. For me, there's no contact there. Holder has gone up the inside, as is his right. And Saifounov, for me, may have to go here.
As they come out of the first corner, Holder's got his wheels in line, charges up the inside. They run out of room, really. You know, with Holder roaring up the inside, I'll tell you what, Lindback's land's going to be feeling very sore indeed, because he pushed...
No contact.
No contact. That's Saifounov. From that viewing, Saifounov has to go.
And the blue exclusion light is on. Emil Saifounov has been disqualified. And that is bad news for Greg Hancock, because it allows Lindback and Holder the opportunity to challenge here, to go through to the semi-finals. Heat number 20, we're down to 3 riders. Emil Saifounov, 10 points to his name. So he will be back. He'll be in the semi-finals, but he's disappointed with that.
Yeah, he will be disappointed, of course. He wanted more points, but it was a tough call, because with Holder charging through up the inside, he had to kind of get out of the way of Holder, and then all of a sudden he was running in the side of Lindback. Lindback, of course, feeling the effects of that crash with his hand going into the spinning rear wheel. That could have been really quite nasty. And with the weight, the patient weight that Greg Hancock's having to go through, he must be having kittens back in the paddock. Because it certainly can't, you know, now, as you rightly say, Holder and Lindback have got a better chance of making the semi-finals and knocking out Greg Hancock.
Well, yeah, he's going to be put through the mill, Greg Hancock, no doubt about that, in his weight here. Whatever, he knows that he's extended his lead on Thomas Golub tonight.
Yes.
So he's safe in the knowledge where that's concerned. But he'd love a semi-final appearance, because he could make it even more.
Exactly, he could stretch that lead out even more and secure his place on top of the table. He's still going to go away with a sensible lead in the World Championship. He's on 103 points there. Golub can't add to his total, so that's not going to change. Hampel's the one that could actually now leapfrog Thomas Golub.
Well, Greg Hancock is with Steve Brandon now. Steve.
8 points, lots of maths, chewing your fingernails.
Oh yeah, you know, this is not the ultimate situation to be in, you know, and it's to the last Grand Prix. So you know, maybe get lucky again, maybe not, but I got to be better in the heats.
But you gain points, there's a positive. But, you know, tonight that race win in your last ride could be very, very important.
Yeah, I mean, every race win is important, as we know. But, you know, I threw away early points in the beginning of the meeting. And, you know, at least I recovered with some right now. It's good, but, you know, I still want to be in the semis. I want to be in the final.
We hope to see it in the semi-final draw. It would keep a good record going this year.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to keep that going.
Thanks, Greg.
Thank you.
And good for Greg to give us a few words in between races whilst he waits the outcome.
Well, never easy, is it? You know, he's biting his fingernails there in the paddock, and he's certainly having to be very patient. And of course, he'd dearly love to be through to the semi-finals, but he's right. Didn't ride well enough earlier on in the meeting, and that's why he's in this position, and just found himself in difficult places where the conditions were difficult at the beginning of the meeting. Crump has been absolutely majestic tonight. It's been in a class of his own so far.
Well, yeah, absolutely brilliant form. They've got to do it all over again here. You can see the training track in the background here at Melilla. As we see the latest standings now,
yeah.
Greg Hancock on 103, Thomas Gollop 76 now. So it is quite a lead for Greg over Thomas Gollop. But look at Hampel.
Well, Hampel can get into second in the world right now. He's into the semi-finals, and if he can keep a strong run going, then who knows, he could well become the main threat to Hancock's lead. It isn't going to be a disastrous outcome for Greg Hancock, even though he hasn't had the best of nights, because Gollop hasn't had a great night. But with the rerun of Heat 20 coming up, that man there, coming from the outside gate, has still got a chance of making the semi-finals. He's on 6 points, and a win here for Chris Holder would guarantee him a slot in the semi-finals at the expense of the championship leader, Greg Hancock.
Well, it is quite a night here at Melilla. Thoroughly enjoyable speedway with drama and tension.
Yeah, there's a lot of tension about. The speedway at the beginning of the night was difficult, not out of the top draw because conditions were very difficult. Conditions have improved. They've done great work with the track as the meetings progress. Riders have got to grips with it, and we're beginning to see some really good action out on the track.
Well, heat number 20 will try the restart again here. And a chance for Holder as we build up to this absolutely vital race. And can Jason Crump complete a 5-ride maximum?
Well, he's more than capable of doing it. He's done it in the past, and you don't win world championships without being able to win lots of races. So Crump made a great start in the original staging of Heat 20.
Crump off the inside then, no rider off gate number 2, Antonio Lindback off gate 3, Chris Holder off the outside. Some people will say Holder was at fault for coming up the inside and pushing them wide.
It wasn't an easy decision for Craig Ackroyd.
No, absolutely. And yeah, fingers crossed from Greg. Quite right so, as heat number 20 comes up here. Hancock will be hoping that Jason Crump wins the race, because then Holder can only score 8 if he finishes second.
And he'll be hoping that Lindback gets second place.
And he'll be hoping, yeah, for Greg Hancock to get into the semis, it needs to be Crump, Lindback and Chris Holder, and that's how it is at the moment. But Holder's going to go wide. Watch him go here. Crump has the lead. Lindback second. Holder's going to come on strong. Holder is going to try the outside line once again in yellow. This is Heat 20. Lindback tries the inside line. They're going to try absolutely everything here. Going into lap 2, Crump is riding superbly, but Lindback is going for it here.
Yeah, well, he's desperate for the win. A win might just see him through. Jason Crump out again in front, looking really good. Chris Holder's nowhere. He cannot land a blow. Look at Lindback. Lindback's all over the Australian out in front. Chris Holder, you've got to say, is struggling back in 3rd place with just about a lap to go, Nigel. Hancock could be through.
This could be an amazing story for Greg Hancock, because this is the finishing order that would put Hancock in the semi-finals on 8 points. Crump, Lindback, Holder. Crump would score 15, Holder would score 7, Lindback would score 7, and now Greg Hancock is on his way through to the semi-finals of a remarkable Grand Prix.
Fabulous performance from Jason Crump, 15 out of 15. You cannot deny that. That really is quite special. But you know, sometimes your name is on the trophy. Got to say that Greg Hancock, after a terribly long wait to see all the races completed tonight, somehow manages to get the right result in Heat 20, and that sees him through to the semi-finals. Incredible stuff. And Hancock's charge to the title will continue tonight. He's now got to switch his brain back on Who knows? He could still win it tonight.
But Jason Crump, let's take our hats off to him. 15 points out of 15. He'll get first pick for the semis. Crump, Lindback, Holder and Sayfutdinov. That is the finishing order for heat number 20.
Textbook stuff from Jason Crump away from the inside, really has not been threatened. Lindback did threaten him through the race, but off the start line, Crump has been in a class of his own. He goes on to 15 points, and this result is absolutely staggering. Who would have predicted that that would have fallen like that? The cards have fallen absolutely perfectly for the World Championship leader, Greg Hancock. It's been a perfect night so far for Jason Crump. Absolutely back to his best.
Well, congratulations to Jason Crump. Absolutely stunning stuff from him with a 15-point maximum so far. Can he go on and make it 24? Remember, the final, you get double points. Hancock could have been in the shower by now and heading home.
Yes.
But here he is, all set. And Antonio Lindback had that nasty hand injury, didn't he? He got the hand caught in the wheel. And, well,
you can see the disappointment in Lindback's face there after some really encouraging performances recently. He'd be bitterly disappointed to miss out. He has got out of jail 2 times on the run, Nige. Terenzano and now again in Melilla had a really painful wait from heat 17, and then the rerun of heat 20. It was really just pouring salt in the wound, but it's come right for him.
He's won his last ride, and then he's had that long wait. It's just amazing what's happened to this man.
And then he's had the cards fall right in heat 20.
Absolutely.
It is quite a remarkable state of affairs, and that's why I say sometimes your name is on the trophy.
And his nearest challenger, Thomas Golub, is out of the race in this meeting now.
It's all going the way of the championship leader right now.
Well, we await the draw for the semi-finals. Perfect shots here in Melilla, a massive crowd packing the terraces here. Really looking forward to the semis and the final. Crump is going to be the man to beat, but to pick a winner from this meeting all comes down to one race, and you never know what might happen, Kelvin.
Yeah, you know, obviously Crump looking very strong at this stage, but you rightly say, you know, it's he's still got 2 very important races to go. Bierre's fast, and Harris has looked really fast once he's got into front, and there's such quality there. The Swedes are delighted. They've got 2 riders through to the semi-finals, so, you know, there's plenty of interest still for the home crowd.
Confirmation then of the scorers here now, and the top 8 is clear-cut. Hancock qualifies because he's won a race and Fredrik Lindgren hasn't, and it means that Crump, Jonsson, Bierre, Sayfutdinov, Harris, Jonassen, Hampel and Hancock make the semi-finals. And look at the man in 14th place, Thomas Golub. Just been an awful night for the world champion, no doubt about that. Now the gate stats ahead of the draw for the semi-finals, and I know Jason Crump was taking a close look at gate number 1, Kelvin.
Well, and he's got a choice to make because he's won races from every gate tonight. He won't go for gate 4 because that really has been tough to do anything from there. But gates 1 and 3 have got to be the favourites.
Well, we await the riders coming forward to get the draw underway for the semi-finals and the final here in Melilla. Been a super meeting, thoroughly enjoyed it.
It's burst into life.
Yeah.
Second half of the meeting really has, we've been able to see some quality racing. The track and the conditions have really improved as the night's gone on, and that's why we've got so many people here, because this is a spectacular racetrack and people are prepared to travel a long way to come here, and they've been thoroughly entertained in the last, say, I would say 10 or 12 races.
Been a nice night weather-wise as well. Quite a pleasant evening here in Sweden, right in the middle of a forest here at Melilla. It is a unique venue you'd never believe. It's just almost like in a massive area of forest and woodland. They've just plonked a speedway track.
Yeah, they've made a clearing, and then, as you rightly say, they just plonked it in, and it's been improved. They've invested heavily in the track and the club. It's been well worth it. They've had a Grand Prix here now for 7 years.
Now the draw for the semi-finals. Jason Crump, will he go for gate 1? Yes. Teasing gate 4. Crump then off the inside.
No surprise there. You've got to say Sayfutdinov must go for gate 3, surely. No, he goes for gate 2.
Interesting.
That is a surprise.
Yeah. They are grading the track, by the way, as we go along here.
That's a huge bonus now for Jonasson. He's going to get the second best gate. And he must go for gate.
Wow.
My goodness gracious me, that is a shock. I'm absolutely shocked. I'm absolutely shocked. That's easily the word. Jarek Hampel has got a smile on his face, and I'll tell you what, I know why.
I know some experts that have predicted Hampel to win the meeting tonight.
Well, he's more than capable of winning it.
Yep.
Jonsson.
So,
he's the first man up. Which way is he going to go?
Gate 1, surely.
Yep.
Yes, he does. Andreas Jonsson off the inside. Now, Kenneth Baird.
Now, what's he going to do? He's gone for gate 2. He hasn't gone for gate 3 either. So gate 2, gate 3's been ignored.
Chris Harris now.
Yeah, that's a good decision. Pleased to see that. He's now given himself a good chance.
And now Greg Hancock will go for gate 4 because he's got no choice. And whatever happens now for Greg, Kelvin, he's got to look at it as well. I've got nothing to lose from here.
Absolutely.
No pressure whatsoever.
Exactly.
Just try and get out there and do the business here in Melilla.
Don't understand why Thomas H. Jonasson picked gate 4.
Thomas och Jonasson.
9 points to his name.
Jarek Hampel.
Delighted with gate 3 in the semi-final.
Emil Seyfudinov.
10 points, including the exclusion here.
Jason Crump.
Will perfect tonight.
Greg Hancock.
Just edged through to the semis.
Chris Harris.
Looking good tonight.
Kenneth Baird.
Very quick, 11 points, including the exclusion.
Andreas Jonsson.
Backing up last time out with a win.
Well, that's the lineup for the semi-finals here in Melilla. We'll be underway very shortly. The tractor's still going round, grading the track surface here at the G&B Arena. And we'll be back underway very shortly indeed. And
still shocked by the decision of Thomas H. Jonasson to take gate 4. I don't quite know what he's thinking there, but he obviously feels confident that he can do something from there. If it's not away from the tapes, he'll pull something stunning out of the first corner. You can do that cutback, of course, and maybe you can slip up into second place and secure your final position that way. But I tell you what, that's a risky strategy, you've got to say, to do that, particularly when gate 3 has been working so well.
Well, the riders will be pushing off very shortly for the first semi-final here in Melilla. Packed house, it has to be said. The crowd really enjoying themselves at this purpose-built speedway venue. And
they've been royally entertained, haven't they? And the home riders have done a really good job for them as well.
Yeah, I wonder, is this the best GP of the year so far?
I think the second half, the first few races were a little bit ordinary because conditions were really difficult, but I think the racing, certainly in the last 10 races, has certainly been terrific. And yeah, it can finish off in style now.
3 races to go to decide the winner of the Grand Prix here, the Scandinavian Speedway Grand Prix. Now, this is how it stands. Hancock 103, Golub 76, so he's 27 points behind. Thomas Golub 27 behind Hancock. Jarek Hampel looking at moving up into the top 3, and Jason Crump has rocketed up to 71 points. And if he wins the semi and the final, he'll be on 80 points from the World Championship with 4 rounds still to go. Could be a massive night for Jason Crump, Kelvin.
Well, it already has, you know, because the fact is he's jumped up 2 places in the table already. Started in 6th place, he's now into 4th, with the potential to go right up into 2nd place tonight. And that is nobody, I tell you what, I certainly wasn't thinking in those terms, and I should think that very few people were. But Crump, with this sort of performance, such a dominant performance so far, if he can continue on for 2 more races, double points, of course, in the final. If you picked up 6 points there, who knows? It could well be a very exciting back end of the campaign for Jason Crump.
So the riders get pushed off, ready for the first semi-final here in Melilla in Sweden. And quite a night we've had. And you get the feeling it's going to get very tasty in the next 15 minutes or so. Well, the first semi-final is about to get underway. Jason Crump already up at the start line, ready for the action.
Yeah, Hampel's there alongside him as well, and both those two riders, of course, know what this is all about. Vast experience, of course, now of this stage of the meeting. Sayfutdinov, who was excluded last time out, he chose gate 2. He was able to, he could have had the opportunity to go for gate 3, which is on the stats, certainly looked the better one, but fantastic lineup in the first semi-final.
Yeah, looking forward to this. Should be a terrific semi-final. Remember, Greg Hancock has edged into the semi-finals. He'll be out in the second one. He's the series leader. But Crump, with a victory here, can still edge ever closer to the top of the standings here. First semi-final is coming up. Here's the first semi-final then. Maximum man Jason Crump goes off the inside with Emil Sayfutdinov going off gate number 2. 10 points from 4 completed rides plus an exclusion. Jarek Hampel goes off gate number 3. He can really rocket up to second place tonight in the World Championship. And Thomas H. Jonasson, the wild card, going off the outside on 9 points. Drew Street with a spare bike ready for Jason should he need it. But so far, Crump has been absolutely magnificent. First semi-final here in Manila at the G&B Arena as the green light is on. What a start that was! Sayfutdinov, unbelievable start. Now Crump is surely going to be passed by Hampel, and could we see Jason Crump miss out? Oh,
Hampel very nearly ran in the back of Sayfutdinov. Somehow got away with that. Thomas H. Jonasson's paying the price of the wrong decision off the start line. He's tailed off out the back, but unbelievably, Crump is back in third place, looking like he could miss out on the final after not being beaten so far tonight.
5 straight wins before the semi-final, but Crump is well adrift here now. It looks like his night is going to finish with 16 points, but Emil Sayfutdinov is looking superb. Hampel comes through into second place. Third place is Crump. As it stands, it looks like Sayfutdinov and Hampel are going to be the first 2 riders into the final of the Scandinavian Grand Prix here in Manila. Sayfutdinov from the start was jet propelled.
An electric start from Sayfutdinov. Brilliant start from him. He wins the semi-final. Chased home hard by Hampel. Those 2 boys go through. Bitter disappointment for Crump. Can't believe it. Jonasson paid the price of the wrong decision on the start line. Could have gone for a much better starting position than that.
Major disappointment for Jason Crump. He'll be devastated about the fact that he's missed out on a place in the final. But Sayfutdinov's start there was absolutely jet propelled.
He absolutely launched away from the tapes.
Sayfutdinov the winner with Hampel second. They go through to the final. Jason Crump 1 point, finishes on 16, and Thomas H. Jonasson fails to score. Crump's night is over. He leads the Grand Prix still on 16 points. Sayfutdinov is through to the final. Hampel's through to the final as well. We could have a scenario where Jarek Hampel, currently 5th in the standings, could win the Grand Prix.
Yeah, well, Hampel now is equal points with Thomas Golub. He lies second equal in the world at this stage, and certainly he'll be absolutely delighted with that performance there coming out of the second semi-final. Drama here. Crump on the inside unbeaten, absolutely out-battled to the first corner by Sayfutdinov. Thomas H. Jonasson got it all wrong in the first corner, and he could not land a blow. Crump then finds it difficult to get out of the first corner, and Hampel, who's coming out of gate 3, roars around that first corner and sneaks into second place, relegating Crump back into third place. Crump misses out. That man out in front, he doesn't. He bounces back brilliantly after being excluded last time. He's been in the wars tonight, and Sayfutdinov out in front showed great pace. Hampel and Sayfutdinov through to the final.
Well, what a ride that was from Sayfutdinov.
What a start.
Yeah, the work was done at the start line.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic. Brilliant reaction away from the tapes. He was dead still. Hampel through, he's delighted as well. His opportunity to take second place away from his compatriot Golub.
So we're up to the second semi-final now. Who will join Sayfutdinov and Hampel in the final? Will that man, Chris Harris, manage to edge through to a final here? Chris Harris from Great Britain, the only Great Britain rider in the lineup, has reached 6 finals before tonight. Can he make it? Kenneth Pierre, Danish star, he's had 6 finals to his name as well. We know all about Greg Hancock, don't we? What a career he's had.
think he's had more than 6.
Yeah, just a little bit. 56, actually. Just checking my notes here.
Ever present in the Grand Prix, leading the World Championship stage. It's just that the CV is just absolutely outstanding. Jonsson's the danger man on the inside, though, Nigel. He's been absolutely brilliant.
Jonsson, Bjerre, Harris, and then Hancock off the outside. And this is the second semi-final. What a meeting it's turned out to be. Which two will join Sayfutdinov and Hampel in the grand final here in the G&B Arena in Malala. Terrific atmosphere. The crowd wait with bated breath. Can their hero Jonsson make it through? Bjerre's made a superb start. Hancock now whips up the inside. Hancock is going to try and get the better of Jonsson. Oh! Hancock fairy tale continuing here. The lead is with Bjerre. Jonsson's going wide. Hancock's up the inside, holds the line. Jonsson's coming on strongly though here, and Hancock has just lost control and has allowed Jonsson through.
Hancock coming back for more, but Jonsson covers the move. Just pulled a locker in the middle of the first and second corner, and that allowed Jonsson to get back in there. Bjerre's fast out in front. Hancock rode so hard on that first lap to get through to second place, but it looked like he made just a half a mistake, and Jonsson was really there to pounce.
Yeah, good ride from Jonsson because he held the line and did it when it mattered most. The lead is with Kenneth Bjerre. Looks like Bjerre and Jonsson are going to join Sayfutdinov and Hampel. It's going to be disappointment for Chris Harris of Great Britain. Greg Hancock will finish the night on 9 points, which is still not a bad effort. But Kenneth Bjerre and Andreas Jonsson are heading through to the final of the Scandinavian Grand Prix. With a win for Bjerre, Jonsson was second, Hancock was third. So even though he won't make the final, he'll be happy that he's at least picked up a point added to his total, Kelvin.
And he's going to go away from this meeting having had a disappointing night, still with a strong lead, whatever the outcome of the final is. If Hampel were to pick up 6 points, he would still have more than 20-point lead in the World Championship, which would be more than useful. Bjerre's been fast tonight. Jonsson was terrific to get through to second.
Absolutely right, with the win for Bjerre, Jonsson second, and these are the points now overall. We see that Jonsson's on 15, he's in the final, so is Bjerre, 14, and Hampel's on 11. Now if Hampel can go on and win the final and score 17 points here, then that would put him on 82 points.
And what do I know about gate stats? Because these two boys picked gate 2, and both times it's been won from there. Sayfutdinov in the first semi-final and Bjerre again in the second semi-final. Fantastic out of gate 2, really making it work. They knew something that I certainly didn't know. Great first corner from Greg Hancock. It looked like for a moment he was going to get there, then just gets out of shape. And Jonsson, who's enjoyed a really good night, makes a great decision there to get right up the inside, and he finds himself into second place. Jonsson through, Bjerre looking strong. The home crowd have got their home favourite to support with the all-important final coming up.
Wow, well done to Kenneth Bjerre. Superb. As we build up to the final in a few moments. Well, Greg Hancock on his way to the pits, and he knows that his night is over, but still 9 points, 104 all told now.
Well, if that's his worst meeting of the year, Nigel, then hey, that isn't that bad. And he's kind of got out of jail because he's still going to have a very respectable lead going into the Grand Prix in Torren in 2 weeks' time.
Well, Bjerre then preparing for the grand final here. Quite a final it promises to be. The track grading goes on once again. And Hancock will still be relatively satisfied, as we say, 104 points. Gollop's on 76.
Yeah.
So 28-point difference between him and Gollop now, with 4 rounds to go after tonight.
Yeah. And
28 points.
It's looking good. So it's actually improved, even though he's had a disappointing night. Of course, Hampel might have something to say about that. Absolutely, if he can manage to pick up 6 points in the final and win on the night.
Yeah, Hampel currently is on 11, so Hampel now is on 76. He's level with Gollop.
That's right. With the second place in the semi-final, they're equal second in the world. So Hampel's the one that can actually make a move here, up to 82 points.
Yeah.
So that would be a significant move by him.
And Greg Hancock is with Steve Brandon.
not the way you wanted to finish tonight, I know, Greg, but you're taking away 9 points, but you've got a healthy lead in the championship.
Yeah, of course. You know, I mean, I got lucky again tonight, and in these cases, you're supposed to take advantage of them, you know. So I had a good first corner there and got into second, but I picked up a little too much grip going down that front straightaway, and I missed the line, and Andreas took advantage of it. So, you know, it's one of them things. I had a really bad start, but I finished much better, and just got to clean up my act for the next one.
I mean, 4 rounds to go. You're ticking Grand Prix off now and keeping that lead. That's very important to you.
Yeah, of course it is. You know, I mean, I want to be in the semis, which I made it, but I want to, you know, when I get there, it's kind of like no holds barred. You got to go for it. And I missed the final tonight, but Torrens coming up a couple weeks. I'll be ready.
I normally have to wait a little bit longer to talk to you at Grand Prix this year, which has been great. But looking at the 4 guys in the final, who's your money on?
Well, that's kind of hard to say right now. I'm not thinking about it too much. Just thinking about what I'm going to do next time. So thanks to all the fans here. It's been great. You know, you guys are fantastic for me, too, being a foreigner, or half a foreigner, and lots of friends here from the States and everything. So I hope you had a great time.
Thanks, Greg. We'll see you in a fortnight.
Thanks.
Good work from Greg Hancock, the ultimate professional, Kelvin.
Yes, he is. And if he did manage to pick up his 2nd world title this year, it would be fully deserved. He's been ever present in the Grand Prix, and it really has been an outstanding performer over the years. The gate stats, it's all getting very tight there. Of course, the semi-finals both won off the gate 2, which I didn't fancy that, but certainly the important boys did, and they came up. But now the all-important gate draw for the final.
Well, remember, you have to keep your eyes on Jari Hampel here, because he is the man that can pass Thomas Golub now and close the gap on Greg Hancock.
No surprise. Gate 1
for Bier.
Yeah, gate 1 for Kenneth Bier. No surprise there. Saifulinov up now, 2nd time. He goes for gate 2. He's delighted about that because he made a wonderful start from there in the semi-final. Jonsson goes for gate 3. Yeah, that's a good choice. And gate 4. It's been tough all night, gate 4, and got to say that Hampel, if he wants to get amongst the points tonight, is going to have to do something very special, because he can go world number 2 again here tonight if he picks up the 3rd place.
Yep, absolutely. Remember, it's double points for the final. 6 points for a win, 4 for 2nd, 2 for 3rd. Greg Hancock will be hoping that Hampel finishes last here, because Greg will have a 28-point lead with 4 rounds to go. Hampel needs the win then, off the outside.
Andreas Jonsson.
Been really good tonight.
Emil Saifulinov.
Back to his best.
Kenneth Bier.
He's in top form, Kenneth Bier.
Absolutely. Well, it's set up beautifully. It's been a terrific night of Speedway. The crowd have loved it. Look at the crowd here, packing the seating here.
They're on the edge of their seats, aren't they? Because they would dearly love to see Andreas Jonsson win. And of course, this is a really good performance by Jonsson. He won in Terenzano in totally different conditions than he's experienced tonight. And he's showing the sort of experience and the quality of a man that is now ready to really become a serious threat in the World Championship. Bier, a Grand Prix winner, of course. He won last year in Gothenburg. He's had his ups and downs this year, but certainly he's shown plenty of speed. And tonight, he has been jet-propelled away from the tapes, and he's been hugely impressive once he has hit the front. Hampel is the one with the stiffest task here. You know, the gate stats suggest that it's going to be very difficult for him to win the race. Not impossible, of course, because we've had 2 race wins from there. But in this sort of company, at this stage of the night, he's going to have to do something very spectacular if he's going to pick up the 6 points.
And he's the man with it all to gain, as I mentioned earlier. Yep. He is the one man that can close that gap on Greg Hancock. So whatever happens, Greg knows that he's going to have a 22-point lead if Hampel wins his final.
Worst way. So, yeah, he's going away with exactly the same lead. He came into the meeting and he has not enjoyed a great night of Speedway. So,
yeah, and 22 points is like 1 Grand Prix win if he scores 0.
Yeah, so he's still in a strong position.
So he's 3 GPs away. I know there's 4 rounds left, but technically Greg is 3 GPs away from being world champion. He's getting closer and closer, Kelvin.
He is indeed. We've spoken about Hampel. He's got a tough task. Emil Saifulinov, I think he's my favourite for the win here this evening. He's shown a terrific... If he can reproduce a start like that out of gate 2, then he will win the meeting. But it's going to be awfully difficult because Kenneth Bier, the man on the inside, he has been terrifically fast and in great form, winning plenty of races tonight.
So the final is coming. We're looking forward to this now. And as we said, we'll be watching very closely for Jarek Hampel. As you said, Kelvin, it is the toughest task, no doubt about that.
Yeah.
Because Gate 4, to be fair, the outside line has worked quite well, not necessarily from the start, but riders have been going wide. They've tried the inside as well. And again, I have to say, this is probably one of the best Grand Prix of the year so far.
Agreed. I think it's certainly blossomed into a really spectacular event, and we've all enjoyed it immensely, and certainly the crowd have, particularly when they've got one of their homegrown in the final itself. So yeah, we've got a quality lined up. There's been some disappointments for Crump, particularly in the semi-final, and Gorob, the world champion, out before the semi-finals again.
So the final is upon us then of the Scandinavian Grand Prix here in Manila in Sweden. Andreas Jonsson, a home hero, making his 18th final appearance. Remember, he rode and won in Terranzano a fortnight ago. Kenneth Bjerre also very quick tonight, only his 7th final of his career so far. Emil Sayfutdinov, final number 8 for Sayfutdinov. And Jarek Hampel now in his 17th final in his 57th Grand Prix. So it's all set up beautifully. The crowd have loved every minute of this tonight. Tricky early on, track conditions with so much grip, probably too much grip in certain situations.
Was a little bit. Certainly on the entrances to the first turn and the third turn, it was just a little bit awkward, but it's improved as the night gone on. Can't remember the last time Sayfutdinov won a Grand Prix, probably in his first season, but tell you what, he could certainly win here this evening, that's for sure. He's shown really good speed out there.
The final is upon us, the FIM Scandinavian Speedway Grand Prix in Manila, and Kenneth Bjerre goes off the inside, the man from the Kings Lynn Stars in the UK. Emil Sayfutdinov, who rides for the Coventry Bees in the UK, is off gate 2. Andreas Jonsson, the home hero, here off gate 3. Jarek Hampel going off the outside, and away from the start they go. Jonsson has made a beauty. Could he make it 2 wins on the trot? But watch out for Hampel in yellow. Jarek Hampel is going to try the inside. Yeah! Oh, what a move from Jarek Hampel. Now Jonsson is going to come back for more. He goes up the inside. Sensational speedway in Manila. Jonsson has the lead. Hampel coming round the outside. Round the outside.
Oh! Jonsson slams the door shut down the back straight. What a lap and a half of speedway that was. Jonsson doesn't want to be denied tonight. Hampel's fast in 2nd place. Sayfutdinov's out the back. Bjerre in 3rd place. But Hampel and Jonsson, wow, what a race we're seeing.
And Sayfutdinov is chasing hard after Kenneth Bjerre as well. But the lead is with Jonsson. He's under all sorts of pressure. Jonsson going into the last lap in front of loads of sponsors and fans here in Manila. One big dive from Hampel. You can't take your eyes off this race. Hampel's coming round the outside. Hampel to the line. Jarek!
Oh, finish! Which way did that go? Certainly Hampel was awfully close.
He thinks he's got it.
He thinks he's got there. Wow, what a last corner. Yes, he has. Hampel wins the Grand Prix.
Wow!
Stunning style. What a ride from Jarek Hampel. He snatches that 6 points and goes into 2nd place in the world. That was the race of the night, Nigel.
Proper speedway, as you call it, Cal.
Absolutely. Speedway out of the top draw.
Fantastic.
We waited for that for some time, but I tell you what, that's what it's all about.
And that closes the gap in the World Championship.
22 points.
22 points, Greg Hancock, and now Hampel is 2nd in the world once again. 22 points behind Greg Hancock. Andreas Jonsson has still got the Swedish flags flying. We're still waiting for confirmation of the result because the referee is the man that has to declare the result.
What a final night.
What a final.
What a
Hampel
final that was. Hampel got it on the run to the line. What a race that was. Jonsson was under immense pressure, had a decision to make, decided to ride narrow in the last corner. Hampel then roared right round the outside. There was a battle for 3rd as well with Sayfutdinov and Bjerre going on. But I'm afraid we weren't watching that on the run to the line, and the last lap from Hampel was absolutely staggering. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
And then Kenneth Bjerre getting 3rd place. So 2 points for Kenneth Bjerre, 6 points for Hampel, 4 for Jonsson, and then 2 for Bjerre. Wow, what a final that was. of the Scandinavian Grand Prix.
Jonsson initially made a fantastic start, but then he got hunted down by Jarek Hampel, who was hungry for points.
Hampel the winner, Jonsson second, Kenneth Bier was third, Emil Sayfutdinov at the back. Jarek Hampel wins the Grand Prix. That's only his second win of his career in Grand Prix Speedway. Congratulations to Jarek Hampel. Jonsson finishes top scorer, but it's Hampel who wins the Scandinavian Grand Prix.
Fabulous start initially from gate 3 from Andreas Jonsson. He roared into the first corner. This time it's Sayfutdinov misses out. Hampel gets to the front, steams up the inside, but then runs too wide. And Jonsson was able to switch back to the inside and gets himself to the front. And then Hampel sets about him. What a ride it was. The second half of the race, the second 2 laps were absolutely extraordinary. He tried inside, he tried outside, but on the last corner, he absolutely rips round the outside when Jonsson had that decision to make. And on the run to the line, on the back wheel, he snatches that win away from the home favourite. What a performance from the world number 2.
Sensational speedway. That's what the sport's all about. Fantastic, and it's congratulations to Jarek Hampel. We are hearing, Kelvin, that there are discussions about the starting gate. That the race has been declared, by the way. It appears as though the result has been declared by the referee, and therefore it can't be changed. But
I do know that Jonsson made a fantastic effort from gate 3. I didn't pick it up at the time.
Wow.
Difficult to see from that there. We didn't really see the tapes going up. We can't see whether there was lopsided, but the result has been declared.
Well, do they think there's a rerun going on here?
It would be hugely unusual for the final to be rerun.
Let's see it.
Yeah.
Oh!
Goes up lopsided.
Wow! Perfect shot. But the race has been declared by the referee, and therefore the race result stands. Andreas Jonsson, Jarek Hampel taking the applause of the fans, but drama right to the end with the starting tapes, Kelvin.
We had that, of course, last time, not in the final, of course, but in one of the heats in Terenzano. The race meeting is over. Slightly controversial circumstances there at the end, but you can't deny the fact that Jarek Hampel rode an absolutely extraordinary race. When you consider Gate 4 has been an absolutely awful all night, he somehow dug deep. He found something extra there, Nigel, no doubt about it, because Jonsson was in front, looking strong.
Yeah, well, we will get the reaction, the rostrum, the podium, the interviews, the presentations here in Melilla. Quite a night it's been. And that final was simply sensational. The track has come to the riders as the meeting has progressed.
Yes, I agree with that entirely. I think the conditions have improved, and then all of a sudden we've seen some spectacular action. We've been passing inside out. The racing really has become very much more competitive in the later stages.
Yeah. And we'll get the boys up on the rostrum here in the G&B Arena as we prepare for the rostrum. So the presentations are about to be made. Congratulations to Jarek Hampel. What a final. I mean, I know the starting gate has caused controversy, but the bottom line is Jarek Hampel has won the race right on the line, and congratulations to him. It's the Polish national anthem there. Congratulations, Jari Campel. What a meeting this has been.
Surprised it's only his second Grand Prix win. I would have thought he would have won more Grand Prix than that, but hugely consistent in the World Championship.
Absolutely right, yeah. So the presentations are being made now. And third place, the FAM Jewellery President. Kenneth Pierre taking the spoils for third place.
Another good performance from Andreas Johnson.
Absolutely
the first
right.
and the second in the last 2 Grand Prix. That's really cementing his place in the top 8 this year, and a fantastic reaction to his name being announced on the rostrum by the home crowd.
A lot of pressure and expectation on Andreas' shoulders this week, but he's done the business tonight. Could have won the final, but for that sensational last move by Jari Campel. It really was. It's a type of Grand Prix final that will go down as one of the all-time classics of a Grand Prix final.
Yeah, you can be proud if you're in that race, certainly for Jari Campel, who's now going to be awarded the winner's trophy on the night. Fantastic performance in the heat, in the final heat. Brilliant performance from him. You've got to say, he rode like a man possessed there. That was a world-class ride.
And now the presentation for Jari Campel, Mayor of Hultsfred, which is where we are in Sweden here tonight, and I've thoroughly enjoyed our Speedway coverage. The Grand Prix has really delivered the goods here. Despite that controversy, the starting gate clearly didn't go up properly at the start of the final, but the result was declared, and Jari Campel went on to secure only his second victory in his World Championship career. It propels him into second place in the World Championship standings. Many congratulations to Jari Campel, winner of the Scandinavian Grand Prix here in Melilla in Sweden. What a night of racing we've had, and how he deserves it, Kelvin.
That was an outstanding ride. There's